And we are live! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Savin's World. My name is Savin, and I would like to thank each and every one of you for joining me today. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, 2 streams in a row. I must be feeling better. And just to let you guys know, today's stream is going to be a little bit different than my normal streams. Yeah, normally we just play 7 Days to Die and test things out and chill and that kind of thing. This one's going to be a little bit different. Just a little different. As I said last night on last night's stream, I'm a giant nerd. Giant nerd. I love sci-fi. I love fantasy. I have been a fan of Professor Tolkien since I was a very little child. Believe it or not, I learned how to read when I was very, very young, and one of the first book series I ever read was the Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings. I absolutely loved it, and I've read it many times over. When I lived on the East Coast, I had a 2-hour commute every day, so I had the Silmarillion, I had the Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, the Unfinished Tales. I had pretty much any Tolkien writing, so either J.R.R. Tolkien or Christopher Tolkien. I had all of those on audiobooks, and I would just listen to them over and over again. So I'm a huge fan. Absolutely love it. It really was a very important part of my childhood. It really shaped my imagination when I was younger. So, yeah, giant nerd, love it, not gonna apologize for it. It is my jam, baby. So, as you may or may not know, the Amazon Prime Video or Amazon Studios or whatever it is, just released the long-awaited Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Just so you guys know, I refuse to refer to this as The Lord of the Rings. I will refer to this series as Rings of Power and Rings of Power only. And I will tell you why once we get into the actual review. So I'm going to be I've watched the first 2 episodes. I've only watched them once, okay? I made my way through them both. And we are going to go into my thoughts on everything Rings of Power so far. So like I said, a little bit different kind of stream than what I normally do here on Savin's World, but it is Savin's World, and a large part of my world, especially growing up, was the world of J.R.R. Tolkien. So I hope you guys enjoy the conversation. And I'd love to hear what you guys think as well. Let me know in the chat. So, guys, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy, very, very spoiler-heavy review, okay? So if you have not seen it yet, or if you're looking to watch it, you might want to watch the replay of this stream on Savin's World Live, which I will post the replay on Savin's World Live once we are done. So, yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me get rid of this. There we go. There we go. Schneidi, how you doing, man? Good to see you, buddy. All right, so, yes, like I said, this is going to be a spoiler-heavy review. I'm not going to pull any punches, and I'm not going to apologize for my feelings. Like I said, Tolkien is, like, ingrained in my DNA. It is in my bones. I love it. I am not going to go as far as to say I'm a lore expert or a scholar or anything like that crap. Because that is cringe. I hate when they were doing the advertising, you know, and the rollout for this, and they got all of those quote unquote Tolkien scholars, self-described Tolkien scholars. That's just, no. Tom Shippey, that gentleman is a Tolkien scholar. And what did Amazon do with him? They fired his ass. So that should give you a good insight to this show and how Amazon treated it. So I will not claim to be a lore expert. I know a lot about the world of Tolkien. I know a lot about the lore, but it's been a while since I have actually, like I said, I used to listen to the books on audiobook all the time when I was on the East Coast. But since I moved back from the East Coast, I have not read the books or anything like that since. So I'm going on old knowledge or stuff that I used to know a long time ago. So I've forgotten a lot. So I'm not going to claim to be an expert on the lore. However, there are some things in this show that if you have read anything, any of the Lord of the Rings books, you scratch your head and you're like, wait, what? I mean, even if you have a basic understanding of the Lord of the Rings and you watch this show, you're like, wait, what? So, yeah, I'm not an expert. I'm not going to claim to be an expert. I'm not a scholar. I'm not going to claim to be a scholar. I'm just a huge fan and a giant nerd. And so we are going to get into, I think I want to break this down into different categories, different sections, because not everything in this show was totally terrible. There were some things in the show that I liked, so I put that out there first and right in the forefront. There were some things that were, okay. But my overall feelings is this is a dumpster fire of a TV show. I mean, total dumpster fire. Okay, so let's take the lore out of it for a second. Yes, let's see. Yeah, Galadriel. Yeah, we'll get into Galadriel. Oh, we will get into. Oh my God, we will. Yeah, we will talk about that. It's a shame what the showrunners have done. Real quick, Jim, welcome to the stream. Zampo, I hope I'm saying that right. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, we'll get into all of that. We will touch on the lore. Like I said, I'm not a lore expert. I'm not, but there are some things in this that are just, honestly, it's a slap in the face to Tolkien. It really is. And the fact that they released it on the anniversary of his death, I mean, that is just, okay. All right, let's piss on the man's grave, why don't we? Yeah, but we'll get into that. We'll get into the lore, but we'll also touch on the characterization. We'll touch on the writing, the dialogue. We'll touch on the visuals. We'll get into everything, and I'm going to try to stay as chronological as I can, but I'm going to jump around a lot as well. And while I'm doing that, we are going to go in and we'll take a quest from Jen here, and we'll go slay some zombie jerks while we're doing it, because 7 days is still. Oh, hello.
What are you buying today?
I'm not buying anything, lady. I want a job. Give me a job. All right, let's just take, what do we got? We'll just take this clear that's, yeah, we'll take that one. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So we'll get to it, and then as we're moving, we'll make our way to the site. And we'll just jump right into it, guys. I think I'm going to start with what I think, lore aside, setting the lore aside, just analyzing this as a TV show. I think we're going to start with what I think was the absolute worst aspect, like, again, lore aside, of this show. And that is the writing and the dialogue. It was atrocious. Atrocious. It was as if a 10-year-old was writing the dialogue. I was listening to these people, and I'm to the characters interact, and I'm like, have the writers never had a conversation ever in the entirety of their lives? Because nothing, the way that these characters interacted, it's like they were talking at each other. There was no actual dialogue. There was no actual, it was so bad. And I'm like, what is this? What am I watching? Stephanie, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks for all your hard work smashing all the zombie jerks. Hey, you are quite welcome. So, like I said, yeah, this is gonna be a little different. We're gonna be smashing zombie jerks in the face with our club, but at the same time, we're gonna be talking Rings of Power. So, let's just start off in the very beginning. So, and again, guys, heavy spoilers. If you have not seen this, I would not recommend watching it. But if you have not and you want to see this, go watch it and then watch the replay of this live stream, because I am going to be spoiling everything. I am not holding anything back. I'm going to tell you guys what I thought about absolutely everything. Okay. Patrick, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. And John, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. So, guys, let's get right into it. So it opens up, the very first episode opens up with a narration. Oh, what the heck just happened here? All right, I just got an error. Okay. Interesting. So, yeah, it opens up with a narration by Galadriel. And you gotta, really say that name with force. Oh, God, it's so bad. Narration by Galadriel, and we see a child Galadriel in Valinor, and there's a bunch of elf kids playing, and they're laughing and having a good time, and yay! And then there's Galadriel sitting all alone by herself on a rock. And when I watched this scene, it just screamed to me that Galadriel was above all of these other children. They were beneath playing with her. She was too busy building her boat. And all the other kids are like, oh, that boat's never gonna float. What are you doing? You're wasting your time. You're being stupid. You're being stupid. Yeah, so she's above it. She does not have time for trivial play with the other low-life commoner elves. She was working on her craft. She was fashioning this boat. Right? Okay, so she fashions the boat. And the kids are doubting her, saying, "Oh, it'll never float. What are you being stupid? Just being snotty little brat kids, and basically bullying Galadriel, in Valinor." Excuse me, sorry guys. You'll probably hear me bust out laughing a lot because it was tragically bad, and I literally busted out laughing at several points, and not laughing as in, it was comedic, like on purpose. It was supposed to be comedic, and that was a funny joke. No. Okay. So she, in defiance, she looks at the kid and she has a boat. It's not gonna float, it's gonna sail. Okay. So she puts the boat in the water, and it starts going down the little stream, and then it just unfurls magically. There's a sail that pops out, and it changes from this little paper boat with no sail, and the sail unfurls, and it starts moving down the stream, and and then the kids start chucking rocks at it and trying to throw water on it to sink it, and then one of the elves hits it directly with a rock, and it sinks down, and she's hard. Oh, you broke it. And Galadriel, think about this. She's being bullied, right, by all these kids, right? They laugh at her, they sink her boat, and she responds by tackling one of the kids and wanting to punch him in the face, right? She's going in for the punch, right? Trying to show that she is, a strong, independent character who doesn't take notes. Guys, I will forewarn you, I usually don't swear, but I'm probably gonna swear during this. So if you're put off by strong language, yeah, I'm probably gonna be using some stronger language than normal here. So yeah, she's supposed to be this strong, independent character, right? And going to, standing up for herself in the face of all of these people who doubted her abilities. Like, you told me it wouldn't work, and then when I showed you I was right and you were wrong, you had to destroy my beautiful creation. So I'm gonna stand up for myself and beat you to a pulp. Which, if anybody has ever been bullied or dealt with bullies, generally speaking, bullies are cowards, right? And they intentionally pick on and bully the people who are not the strong confrontational, the ones who will stand up for themselves. So the two, they just it didn't mesh. It didn't mesh at all. They're trying to give you, make Galadriel kind of a sympathetic character, that she's being bullied by all these awful children. But at the same time, the very, very next second, they demonstrate that she is not the type of individual that would be bullied because she's standing up to the bully. It did not make any sense to me whatsoever. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So her brother just all of a sudden pops up and then they have this what I thought was supposed to be kind of like a mentoring type of scene where the wiser older brother is going to impart wisdom on his little sister, Galadriel, and they get into this conversation that was just nonsense. It was nonsense. So, guys, here's a trope that writers do. Bad writers, I will say, do this all the time. They don't have the intellectual capacity to articulate points in a meaningful way. So what they do is they use flowery language. They use big words and string together big words and make it seem poetic and make it seem deep and meaningful, when in actuality it is nonsense. It is nonsense, right? So, and it's a sign of bad writing. It is a sign of bad writing, and you see it a lot, where they'll string together these seemingly highfalutin strings of dialogue, right? And so in this one, yeah, word soup, yes, exactly. Real quick, okay, I'm going to pause here. I'm going to go back in and jump into chat and see what I missed. John, howdy from Hoosier Land. Howdy to you. Welcome to the stream. Sabrina, good to see you. Thank you very much for joining. Hope this review has some laughs. I need a ringtone of your laugh. Well, this did make me laugh. That's for sure. Patrick, good to see you. Greetings from Utah. Good to see you. Shannon and Kelly. Hey, it's good to see you. I'm so glad I was able to do a stream on Friday, and we're switching back to our Fridays. so that Kelly, you can join in on the fun with us. So so glad. Intelligence is amazing. The paper won't float. Yeah, no, it won't. It will sail. Yeah, it's like they have no concept of buoyancy. I just okay, whatever. She should have foreseen it. I guess it didn't mirror reality. Yeah. But who really is the bully? Kids attempt to sink your paper boat, so you beat the crap out of them. She's the bully. Yeah, exactly right. So that's what I was saying. The writers are trying to make you sympathize with poor Galadriel. These evil, bad kids, they destroyed her little boat. And then she turns around and tackles the dude and is going to beat the crap out of him? It's like, that's not really a measured response. It doesn't make you sympathetic with Galadriel. It makes you think, holy shit, this little kid was a... Because throughout... there's a thread of Galadriel throughout the entire show. That she is unlikable, insufferable, and excuse my language, a complete bitch. Through the entire show. And this one scene is like, oh, she's a bitch. She's been a bitch since she was 10 years old. I mean, I was like, what the heck? Okay. All right. Anyway. Yeah, I see what you were saying. What's up, bro? Craig, welcome to the stream. Roach Dog, welcome to the stream. Dalama, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Rosiel, how you doing? Jonathan, welcome to the stream. Let's see. How am I feeling? I am feeling so much better. I am over the Rona, baby. It was a sucky illness, but yeah, I got through it. So that's the main thing. Popped in for Moment 7. Good to see you're well. Thanks, Dalama. I appreciate you, man. And keep up the work with your Spider-Man series, brother. It's I've been enjoying it. So yeah, keep it up. Don't hate watch. I repeat, do not hate watch Rings of Power. Don't want the show getting views. Just pirate it. I do not have Amazon Prime. My friend does, and I will not give Amazon $1 for this show. Not gonna happen. But I did, like I said, I'm a huge Tolkien nerd. I'm a huge fan of the books, and I felt obligated to give it a chance, so to speak, even though I knew going in it was going to be a dumpster fire. Anyway, yes. Popped in. Hi, man. Tolkien wrote this too? No. Tolkien. See, Tolkien was one of... Okay. For those of you guys who are not aware, the Lord of the Rings books are the most successful and most widely read fantasy series of all time. They have been translated into over 60 different languages, and they are enjoyed and beloved by people all over the world. And there's a reason for that. Tolkien was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He is the epitome of good writing. He is, I mean, it's just beautiful. His writing is beautiful. This writing was amateurish at best. At best. So we're only like a minute into this show. So after that, Galadriel, is being talked to, has a chat with her brother, and again, like I said, flowery language that's supposed to make you think it's intelligent. Supposed to make you think it's deep and meaningful. Yeah. And it's not. So, I'll give you a little, a little sneak peek. A little sneak peek, into the dialogue and give you an example. So they're talking about so Galadriel or the brother looks at Galadriel and is like, when a stone falls into the water, it can only look down, but the water as you go down in the water, you are only moving towards the darkness, whereas the ship looks up to the light. And I'm like, okay, number one, stones don't look at anything. They're stones. They are pulled down by gravity. Okay? Yeah, so that makes no sense. Boats, if you're going to say a boat looks at anything, a boat doesn't look up. if a boat were an animate object, right? It would not look up. It'd look forward. I mean, I guess you could use that. You could say the boat looks forward, but it doesn't look up at the light, right? Stupid. It's nonsensical dialogue that means nothing, right? So, okay, all right. So then Galadriel says, "Yes, but the starlight sometimes shines, reflects on the water. So how can I tell if the light reflecting on the water is really the light or darkness?" Basically saying the stars shine down, you can see the reflection of the starlight on the water. How do I know to look towards the stars and not look towards the water? And then he whispers something in her ear, and I'll get back to what he whispers, guys, because oh man, yeah, we'll get back to what he whispered to her. It was supposed to be this big revelation and this deep thought. And it was, I'm not a big swearer. I don't use swears even in my regular day-to-day life. I don't use swear words very much. I literally screamed at the screen. I was watching it with my friends, and we both. I mean, I uttered some obscenities at the screen once they reveal what he whispers to her. Oh my God, oh man. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. All right. So then we go into this kind of prologue thing where she's giving a backstory of what happened, and if you've seen any of the trailers, like 90% of what was shown there was already shown in the trailers. And yeah. It was some of the visuals were cool. That's what I'll say. But the dialogue, the way she describes it all, and then some of the scenes were just asinine. So if you guys have seen the trailer, you see that there's that one scene where she looks down and, okay, first of all, she is in this immaculate, beautiful white dress, totally spotless, in the middle of a giant battlefield. There's bodies all around, and it's a battlefield. There's mud and dirt and grime and ash and oh my, and she's in the same white dress that she's in throughout the entire thing. Oh, that's another thing I didn't mention. It was really creepy, that beginning scene with the little 10-year-old kids in some dresses that were, no, it was creepy. That was creepy. That's all I'm going to say about that. Anyway, but that's the same kind of outfit she wears throughout when she's not, warrior Galadriel in the armor. So yeah, she's spotless, right? And she looks down and she picks up this elf helmet, and then she turns and she puts it on this pile of elf helmets, and they pan out, right? So if you guys didn't know, Galadriel's like 6'4", right? She is tall. Elves, generally speaking, are taller than men. Galadriel is 6'4", same as her husband, Celeborn. Tall. They pan out, right? And they show her setting the helmet on the pile. She is about 1/10 of the way up this gigantic pile of elf helmets. And it's supposed to be epic, but it just comes off as stupid. How? Okay, how? Number one, how did they build? How was that? How? And number two, why? Why would they do that? Why would they take all of these helmets and just stack them up into a giant pile? if it were even physically possible, which it's not. I mean, she's supposed to be okay, and she's not 6'4" in this show, guys, not at all. I would say maybe she's 5'5" if you want to be generous. I mean, she is not tall, but she's supposed to be. How? It boggled my mind. The people who made this, they see it as an epic scene of, oh, just to show the horror and the loss that the elves have suffered. But it just came across as, what am I watching? And this is the good part. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, it makes no sense. None whatsoever. So yeah, and then it cuts to before that, it shows her brother, who, oh man, she has multiple brothers. He's the only one they mention. And this brother, it was actually killed in an epic battle. Epic battle. He rips a werewolf to shreds. But it was like an epic battle. But he died at the same. I mean, they pretty much killed each other, right? Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's how he actually dies. He doesn't die in some big battle. This particular brother. So yeah, there's actually she actually has 3 brothers. This is the only one they mention. But he just comes across like a wuss. He just comes across like, because there's one scene where it shows him swing his sword, and then he's just screaming like a little girl throughout the entire battle. But what they show, I mean, he's just screaming. I mean, he's screaming stuff in Elvish, but it's not like a commanding, powerful war cry scream. They just make him look so weak. Anyway, so apparently, according to this story, Finrod was on leading a quest to find Sauron, to destroy Sauron. Sauron is, for some reason, the most, like, they make Sauron out to be the evil of all evils, which he wasn't. Not at this time. He was one of Morgoth's lieutenants, pretty much. He was an underling of Morgoth, right? So yes, he becomes the big bad later on, but that's another thing that was weird, because there's no time continuity. There's nothing. It doesn't make, because they have to. Okay, so the Third Age is like 35 or 3,600 years, something like that, and they're compacting it down into a weird time frame, and they don't really get into when everything is happening and what's happening when. And I think they're doing that by design because of rights issues and that kind of thing. But so anyway, they flash to his body. He's laid out on an altar thing. You know what? Let's get in here and start killing. Sorry, I just been standing here. So they show him, and he's laying there. He's dead. He's holding a dagger. All right, come on, you jerks. There we go. Holding a dagger on it, and has the mark of Sauron on him, which, again, so they're making it sound like he went hunting for Sauron, found Sauron killed him, and then branded him? I guess? Why? I don't know. And we'll touch on that later, because the mark of Sauron comes into play later on in the series. So, and it just contradicts what they explain, what the marks indicates, and what it's used for. it would not make sense in this. Whoa, whoa, no, no, no! Stop it! Stop it! Stop! Okay, stop. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we'll get back into that here later. So yeah, he's branded, and she reaches down and grabs the dagger and rips it out of his hands, and his quest now becomes my quest. So they're setting it up that Galadriel is going on a ooh, doggy quest of revenge. Oh, I'm a bad shot. There we go. So she's going on this big revenge quest to get Sauron because Sauron killed her brother. Okay, whatever. Yeah, so then it cuts to her quest to find Sauron, right? And oh man. Okay. Sorry guys, hold on. I'm gonna kill Tom here, and then we'll get back to it. Oh, I love it. Okay, so yeah, the next scene is she is with her men trying to hunt down Sauron, and it's weird because they make it seem like this quest or this pursuit or this search has been going on for centuries. And a couple of things kind of stuck out to me. So they cut to the group, right? There's like 10 elves, right? 10 elves trudging through the snow. They're going after what they have made out to be the most evil being of all time, the evilest of the evils, right? And there's 10 of them, and they're looking for his secret orc army, and the most evilest evil guy of all evilldom. And there's 10 of them, and they've been wandering for centuries looking for it makes no sense. What would 10 elves, I mean, a giant battle with all of these elves did nothing, right? I mean, so many of them died. Yet, so our big idea, our big plan is to send 10 elves to take out the hidden orc army and the evilest of evil dudes in the evil world. I was sitting there thinking, wait, what? There's 10 of them. There's a wide shot of the whole group walking across snow, and there's 10 dudes, there's 10 elves, right? It's like, what were they gonna do? What were they gonna do against Sauron and his army of orcs? Let's say they find the army of orcs and Sauron, right? Let's say they find them. They're gonna be like, oh yes, there they are, and immediately die. It's like, what? Okay. And then they make mention to the fact that they've been searching for centuries, yet they have never found any sign of Sauron. Right? No hint, no whiff, no whispers, nothing. He's vanished. He's gone. So that's why they have to search everywhere. And then we go to that scene where Galadriel they're climbing the ice wall, very, very Game of Thrones-ish. But the difference is Game of Thrones, when they climbed the ice wall, there was a reason why they were climbing the ice wall. In this show, what's the reason? What's the reason for scaling this gigantic ice wall? They just said they have no idea where Sauron is. What makes them think, oh, I know, let's scale this giant ice wall. He's got to be up there. Okay, well, let's say that they assumed that he would go to a place that would be very, very hard to get to. Okay, all right. So maybe that was the thinking. So, of course, warrior Galadriel is, beating everybody up this mountain, right? Everybody up this wall of ice. She is, and if you guys saw the trailer, there's that scene where you see her, boom, stab her dagger in the wall, and then she looks up, right? It shows all the other elves, and they have, an item in each hand, right? And that's how you would climb an ice wall, right? You'd put your ice pick in one, and you would use that to bring yourself up a little bit, and in the other hand, you would boop, hit your other pick into a little bit higher, pull out the one that's lower, and that's how you would scale the wall. But somehow, Galadriel is able, with just a dagger, one implement, she stabs it. It makes no sense. She stabs it, and what? I think they show her like putting her boots in the ice, and then so that would mean she would have to pull the dagger back out and not fall off the mountain, and yet still reach up higher in order to scale this thing, right? No, makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. Okay, anyway, of course, she gets to the top first, and then all the other elves get to the top, and the other elf looks at Galadriel, and mind you, they just scaled this giant ice wall. Okay? They just scaled it to get to the top. And this dude turns to Galadriel and says, yeah, maybe we should go home. There's nothing up here. Let's go home. It's like, we've been searching forever. We should go home. There's nothing here. Why didn't he say that when they were on the bottom? If that's how they were feeling, that's what he was going to go with. You wait until after you scale this giant ice wall, and then you say, you know what? There's nothing up here. We should go home. I think let's camp for the night and then go back. So they were just out mountain climbing. It's an overnight camping trip, even though they've been searching for centuries. Okay, whatever. And of course, Galadriel's like, no, we move forward. So then we get into the night time, and Galadriel's in the front, and she's leading her men, and one of the men in the back falls down, and another one of the elves rushes over to him and screams out, Galadriel, we must stop! And she defiantly, no, we must move forward. It's like, okay, your men are literally falling, like, she has no concern for them whatsoever. And then immediately after, when the guy goes, no, Galadriel, she turns and she's like, oh, okay. And then she comes back and throws a cloak on him and feigning like she cares when she just got done saying, no, screw you, buddy. I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going. Oh, God, it was so bad. And then the dude goes, there's nothing here. We're wasting our time. No, there's nothing here. And then there's a gust of wind, and this giant castle magically appears through the fog. It was so cool. It was like, oh, come on. There's a lot of coincidence in this show too. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. So, of course, this proves Galadriel right. She knew it. It was here. Just for some vague, explained reason, they decided to scale this giant ice wall, trudge through the snow, and boom! Magically, they find Sauron's castle, or what she thinks to be one of Sauron's strongholds, right? So they go into the castle, okay? So go into the castle. And it seems to be abandoned, like nobody's been there forever, right? And before they actually get into the castle, they have to find. They go into this like cavern, right? And it's like sheer ice everywhere, right? No, no, nothing looks different. It just looks like ice everywhere, right? But Galadriel somehow just knows. She walks up to this ice, right? And it is thick. It's got to be at least 6 to 8 inches thick, right? But when she walks up to it, you could see her reflection in the ice, right? She just walks up to the ice and punches a giant hole through the ice that it's got to be 6 to 8. It has to be 6 to 8 inches at least. So, number one, how did she know the hole was there? How? She just magically knows it was there? Number two, how did she... I mean, elves are strong. They are. But she, with her bare fist, punches a hole through ice that is like 8 inches thick? What? Okay, whatever. So she's like, there's a doorway here, break it down. Or there's a doorway hidden behind the ice, break it down. Something like that. And they go in, and that's when they find the chamber where all the bad stuff was going on. You see this orc that's like been scorched and burned into the side of the castle, into the castle wall. And there's an altar or anvil, something like that thing there in the middle. And oh, guys, there is so much in this that I'm probably how much we're already almost an hour in. Oh man, and we're only like not even 10 minutes into the first episode. Oh god. Oh god. I can feel the pain in Savin's words. Yes, Rosiel. Absolutely. It was painful. So, long story short, they're trying to figure out what's going on here. And again, the dialogue is just awful. It's atrocious. One of the dude elf, the one who's like, we should turn back earlier. He's like, whatever went on here is lost to time or something like that. It's just, again, flowery language that means nothing. Bunch of nonsense. Just nonsense. And, I should really continue, I guess. So Galadriel's just sitting there, looking, pondering, and a little snowflake falls down and hits the altar and evaporates. Just, and she goes, water! And the guy hands her a thing of water, and she pours it all over the thing. And then the water freezes around the outline of the mark of Sauron. And then it flashes to light, like it bursts on fire almost. The outline bursts like okay, whatever. There's so much wrong with like the thermodynamics and physics and just the nature of this whole scene. I'm not even gonna touch it. I mean, it's so preposterous. Yeah. Nope. Bad Tom. All right, you guys dead? They did. Okay. So, so Galadriel looks at the sign, right, the symbol, and she says something to the effect of, "This was a signpost to the orcs on how to find Sauron." And I'm thinking back, I'm like, okay, so Sauron, who's trying to give his men, his orcs, his army, a guidepost on how to find him, right? He decides to brand an anvil or an altar or whatever with a hidden mark, right? that you have to pour water on in order to reveal. Okay. Then that hidden mark is, in order to get to that hidden mark, you have to go through a gigantic wall of ice. Wait, wouldn't if you're trying to tell your army, okay, I'm this way, wouldn't you want to leave it somewhere where they can, see it? I mean, you wouldn't want to make it obvious to everybody, but your men, right? You probably have a signal that only they would understand, and hiding it behind layer and layer and layer upon layer upon layer of secrecy, it makes no sense. So that's what the mark is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a signpost, a guidepost to the orcs, right? It's a way for the orcs to follow to find Sauron, right? That's what Galadriel said it was. So then why would Sauron brand her brother? Was he like, okay, orcs, this tells you that I killed this man, so when you find his body, you'll know I was here. Wait, what? Number one, why would he take the time to do that? Number two, it's a battle, right? Once the battle's over, you know that, I mean, especially in this type of scenario, the body will be removed. Like, the elves went and got the body. So none of this makes sense. It makes no sense. I try to make it make sense, but it makes no sense. None. So after that, right, they finally found a sign of Sauron, right? They've been looking for centuries, and they finally found it, right? And after this, we get the troll, the troll scene, which was just atrocious. It was, oh God, it was. All right, so they're still in the castle, and they're still searching around, and a guy is walking through a tunnel with a torch, and all of a sudden the troll jumps out and screams, ah! And the dude looks at the troll, screams, turns around, and starts running away. Okay? I mean, you know what? One person against a troll, yeah, that'd be a tough fight for your typical, typical warrior. Trying to take on a troll by yourself, yeah, that would be a top. I mean, that would be a tough thing to do. So if you guys remember back to the Fellowship of the Ring, when they're in Moria, they're in the room with the tomb, right? And Gimli is all distraught because Balin is dead, and and he's and the troll attacks, right? And there's this huge scene, right? It's such a huge scene where it takes every single member of the Fellowship. They are working together, learning, growing in their bond, right? Working together to take down this troll, right? And they all get their hits in. It shows, Aragorn has to save Legolas. Aragorn has to save Gimli. He has to save Frodo. They show Sam, getting in there and getting his hits in. Merry and Pippin, attacking with their little swords. Everybody's getting their licks in. They're all working to take down this troll, right? And the only way they could take it down is by working together, right? And it shows, a team actually becoming a team and working together to take down a giant foe. Okay, now let's switch to Rings of Power. Snow Troll attacks. The dude screams, runs away. He gets back to the rest of the men and throws his torch. Just throws it down the way, right? And then they just stand there. They just stand there. And you can literally see in the background the troll coming around and coming down the corridor carrying this giant block of ice, right? He hurls this giant block of ice, and the elves, what do? Because elves are nimble, right? Do they dodge? Do they move? Do they draw their weapons and charge and try? Nope, they just stand there. They just stand there, and this giant block of ice just crashes down and takes 3 of them out. And then the troll comes in and is just wrecking everybody. And what's Galadriel do? She just stands there for like 15 seconds. Her men, she's supposed to be the commander, right? The leader. Her men are getting decimated. And they are the weakest bunch of, excuse my language, pussies on the face of Middle-earth. They are so incompetent. I mean, literally the first 3 of them just stand there. The other ones, they go in and maybe get a little, they try to attack the troll, and the troll is just wrecking them, just boom, throwing them, smacking them, flinging them left and right. And Galadriel doesn't even have her weapon out. She's just standing there. She's like, oh look, a troll decimating my men. I should just stand here and look pretty. So finally, Galadriel decides to get into the action. And then we see that the scene you've seen in the trailers where the one elf puts his sword down and Galadriel runs up the sword and somehow gets launched into the air. She does all of these flashy moves. This was totally a yes, Slay Queen moment. She does all of these flashy moves, slashing at the troll. The editing in this scene was atrocious. It was so bad. And swinging and hacking and, just doing all this flat, the behind the back stab and oh God, it was just, and she single-handedly takes down the troll. So, okay. This group of 10, they've been searching for Sauron for 200 years. Right? Or for centuries. Forever. They've been searching. And they are the most incompetent soldiers, warriors, what have you, on the face of the planet. In the Fellowship, right, when they face the troll, they all work together, and there's some synergy, and they, one blow leads to an opening for another member of the Fellowship to land a blow, which leads another member of the Fellowship to do something else, that to offer or to give another member of the Fellowship the opportunity to strike a blow, right? And they work together to take down the troll. They're a team, they're a unit, they're a fellowship. In this, it is warrior, badass, perfect Galadriel and her band of merry fools. That's it. I'm not joking, guys. They literally stand there while an ice troll or snow troll, whatever, holding a gigantic block of ice, comes walking up the corridor and chucks this ice at them. They literally stand there. And I'm like, oh, that's going to happen. I could move, but no, I'm just going to stand here. Oh, crap, I just got crushed by a giant chunk of ice. Who saw that coming? Well, you did. You stood there and watched that happen. Oh, okay. So that was the battle, the troll battle. Ridiculous. She single-handedly takes down. I mean, it was so bad. So after that, okay. Oh. Keep in mind, they have been searching for centuries for a sign of Sauron. Right? Searching for centuries. No sign. Nothing. Nothing. No hint, no sign whatsoever. This has been their mission for centuries. The very moment they find the stronghold, they find the sigil, they find the mark of Sauron, they fight the troll. The very moment after that, the elves, following Galadriel, she says, we must head north. We have found our sign. We know he's out there. We have found what we've been looking for. This is a sign. We must head north. We must continue. The elves literally lay their swords on the ground and quit. She's like, after centuries of searching, we finally found a sign. I knew it. I knew I was right. I knew he was out there. I have proof now, guys. We have some. Our centuries of search has finally yielded some results. And they're like, yeah, now we're gonna go home and have a sandwich. It's cold. We're hungry. We're gonna go home. And they lay down their swords. Again, this is a scene meant to. It's supposed to be epic, right? These men have been searching for centuries and they're exhausted. And it's a symbol. They're laying down their weapons. No, Sauron's not out there. Even though we've been searching for centuries and never found anything, and the moment we find something, we quit. What? What? What am I watching? That was my question through like 99.9% of this show. What am I watching? It makes no sense. I mean, guys, if I'm wrong here, let me know. Make it make sense. Help me. Make it make sense. Because I'm watching this and I'm like, their goal, their mission, their quest for centuries has been to find Sauron, right? And they finally find some proof. They finally find a sign. And immediately after, they're like, yeah, now we're going to go home. What? I mean, what? I don't think I facepalmed harder in my life. I was like, well, who is writing this? Wow. Okay. All right, guys. We're an hour in, and I think I'm only 10, 12 minutes into this show. Oh man, this might be a longer stream, and I'm sorry I'm not doing much gameplay, guys. I'm sorry I'm not slaying the jerks as much as I normally would. But there's just so much to cover, and I guarantee I'm gonna miss stuff. I'm gonna miss things. I'm just going, like I said, I watched both episodes once. And I guarantee I'm going to miss stuff. So, I'm just going for rote, what I can remember. Oh, it's so bad. Galadriel comes across as, extremely unlikable. There is no endearing quality in Galadriel at all. None. Which is not Galadriel. The portrayal of Galadriel in this show is insulting. It is absolutely insulting. Galadriel in the books was the symbol of femininity. She was incredibly powerful. But she didn't don armor. She didn't brandish a sword. She didn't lead armies. There is no such thing as warrior Galadriel. That's not her. Her strength was in other areas. She literally was one of the most powerful beings in Middle-earth. She was. But she didn't show that power. And okay, I will give them something. She was also the most athletic of the females. She was on par with a lot of the men, right? With a lot of the male elves. That's true. That is true. She was, She was athletic. She was, you know, in that sense, she was on par with some of the other male elves, right? But that's not where her true strength lies. Like I said, she was the symbol of femininity. She was very wise. She was very powerful in magic. She had the gift of foresight, and was just grace personified. And instead of portraying Galadriel like Galadriel, they turn her in basically into a dude, and a miserable, awful dude at that. It's like, okay, so I don't like to talk about these kinds of things, but you get, you hear the terms like toxic masculinity. They take what people call toxic masculinity and put all of those traits on Galadriel, and somehow they're trying to make her out to be like the bestest thing ever, right? I don't get it. Why does modern entertainment, in order to portray a female as a strong character, why do they have to, number one, make all of the males around that female into weaklings, into evil, into stupid, into name the pejorative? They have to tear down all the males in order to elevate the female. Then they have to give the female all the toxic masculine traits that they rail against. I don't get it. I don't get it. And that's Galadriel. She is the bestest ever. She is right about everything. And even though just the way that she comes to conclusions, and just knows things magically, and her explanations for things, like for instance, what the mark on the altar meant, it's like, that's stupid. That is stupid. But they represent her like she is the smartest, bestest thing ever. So therefore, in order to make that seem correct, they have to make everybody else around her incompetent boobs, total morons, whiners, complainers, losers, just whatever you want to describe them as. And it ultimately just makes every character in the show awful. So far. I will say, in episode 2, we do meet some characters that I was okay with. I was like, oh, okay. And one of them might surprise some of you. One of the characters that I really liked might surprise some of you. Possibly. I don't know. Let's just say there was a lot of controversy around this character. So when I was watching the show, I had that... I had heard the controversy, and whatever. It was this character was actually halfway decent. Probably once we get there, probably this group of characters was the best part of the show. Definitely. Holy crap, I've been standing here talking so long, a loot bag just disappeared. Oh, guys, this is, as I said at the very beginning, this live stream is going to be completely different from what I normally do. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope, thank you for... This is kind of just my rant session. This is my therapy right now after watching. Oh God. So I really appreciate you guys hanging out and listen. And I will get back to chat here because I know I've missed a lot in chat as I was rambling. So, excuse me. I do need to refill my beverage though, because it's getting pretty low. So I might take a break here in 5 minutes and refill my beverage, give my voice a little bit of a rest, because I'm much better. I think I'm over the Rona, but I still have, you know, my a little bit of a dry throat, a little scratchy throat, and a little tiny bit of chest congestion. But yeah, well, yeah. But I'm feeling so much better, guys. So much better. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And even though this isn't my normal, we don't normally talk, you know, TV shows and pop culture and that kind of thing on this channel. Like I said in the beginning, I'm a huge Lord of the Rings Tolkien nerd, and yeah, I have it set on Horde every night, so this is my testing world. So yeah, we'll probably have to either adjust time or, you know, take on a Horde. That'll be fun. Trying to break down Rings of Power while taking on a Horde. A day 703 Horde at that. Oh man. Okay. All right. So then so they all quit. We're going. If you're gonna go north, you know, you're going alone. We're going. Nah, I don't want to. We don't want to. We're going home. Okay. All right. Whatever. So then they go home. All right, guys, I do need to refill my beverage. So I'm going to throw the commercials on. We will continue with the review of Rings of Power when I get back. Oh, I literally think we're only like 15 minutes into the first episode. So I will try to speed through the rest of this. There's just so much. Guys. Oh, just so much bad. Oh, okay. All right, guys. I'm going to pause this. All right, guys. I'm going to throw the commercials on, and I will be back in 5. Hang tight.
Hey there, folks. My name is Buzz, owner of Buzz's Bar, proud purveyor of our world-famous Grandpa's line of fine spirits and adult beverages. My grandpa always used to say, booze makes you better at everything. So he whipped up a special batch of moonshine, Grandpa's Learning Elixir. Are you looking to master a high-powered, fully automatic firearm? Well, toss back some Grandpa's Learning Elixir and lock and load. Looking to increase your proficiency with some complex motorized tools? Well, don't forget the Grandpa's Learning Elixir. Down that moonshine and get to work. So come on down to Buzz's Bar and grab some Grandpa's Learning Elixir. It makes you better at everything.
Please drink responsibly.
Hey there, folks. My name is Nancy Sylvia Anderson, and I'm the new owner of Poppin' Pills. Our beloved founder Jared, who chased a squirrel into the forest and was never seen again, always believed that it was our duty to offer only the best in pharmaceuticals to our customers. And what better way to ensure that quality than by partnering with our supplier, Higashi Pharmaceuticals? I mean, if you can't trust an international mega corporation, then who can you trust? Higashi maintains the highest standards of animal testing performed in the most ethical and humane conditions. They use the latest methods and technology to research and develop life-saving and beneficial pharmaceuticals, like our brand new anabolic steroids, guaranteed to make you jump higher, run faster, and perform extraordinary feats of strength with absolutely no long-term effects whatsoever. So in the words of our beloved founder, come on down to Poppin' Pills and do some drugs.
Hey there, boys. My name is Candy, owner of Big Buns. It's totally a bakery. people just can't resist getting their hands on my big buns. The girls and I just love churning the butter, kneading the dough, and whipping up the tastiest of treats that you cannot resist putting in your mouth. We use only the ripest peaches, melons, and mangoes, and our milk cans are refreshed daily. I'm so proud to announce our latest creation, Jigglypuffs. They are just so delicious, and boy, do they jiggle. So come on down to Big Buns and get your hands on some now. We also offer private baking lessons. The girls can take you one-on-one or entire groups at a time. They have what it takes to satisfy your every baking need. So don't get all hot and bothered. We prefer hot and buttered. Ron, sweetie, I think the camera's pointed a little low.
I'm sorry.
So come on down and get your hands on my Big Buns. Big Buns, it's totally a bakery.
We live in a savage world. And I, Dirk Savage, know that better than most. So I opened Savage Country to help prepare you folks for this savage world. You wanna talk savage? I've seen some stuff and some things. Stuff that would drive most men insane. Things that would make you want to curl up and die. Don't believe me? I once tried to grab the last $20 Blu-ray player from Mo Powers on Black Friday. I once made an innocuous post on Twitter. One night, I had a little too much moonshine at Buzz's bar and woke up next to Arlene.
Hey, Dirk.
No amount of forgetting elixir will erase that. Oh, God. So please, folks, I beg of you, learn from my mistakes. Shop at Savage Country and prepare for evil.
And I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for hanging with me. I got my beverage filled up, got up and stretched a little bit. Feeling good, feeling good. All right, we're going to get back into the Rings of Power. And I think, guys, the way I'm going to format this, so basically in this series, guys, there's three competing storylines. There's three things happening at once. There's the Galadriel Search for Sauron storyline, right? Then there's the Hobbit storyline, and we'll get into that. And then there's the Forbidden Romance storyline. So I think in order to structure this better, I'm going to stick with each storyline and go through them instead of trying to do the episode chronologically, because I don't remember exactly the order of how everything worked. So we're going to stick with the Galadriel Search for Revenge, Search for Sauron storyline. But before I do that, let me go back into chat a little bit here. Let's see, made it through 3 episodes of Amazon's Jack Ryan, but I couldn't even make it to 10 minutes with Rings of Failure. Yeah, it was tough. So I watched this with a couple of my friends, and it took us, I think, 4 hours to make it through the 2 episodes. These are hour-long episodes, because one of our friends, he was not familiar with the lore, didn't know about, I think he saw the Peter Jackson trilogy movies. but that's about the extent of his knowledge. So, and my other buddy, he's a big Lord of the Rings fan. Knows, has a pretty sound foundation, found a sound understanding of the lore and what had happened in the first, second, and third age, and all that. So we were having to we pause it a lot and fill in our friend to let him know what was going on, or what had happened, or what should have been going on, and yeah. So it took us forever to get through these, and there were moments where we paused it. We would bust out laughing out loud because it was so ridiculous. And there were parts where we would pause it and just my friend would look at me and goes, "Wait, did what?" And something would catch our eye, and we had a lot of discussion through the episode, which was it took us forever to get through it. Yeah, so I can understand not being able to make it 10 minutes. I'm only, 15 minutes into the first episode, and we've been going for over an hour. And I'm sure I've missed a whole heck of a lot of bad dialogue and just nonsensical occurrences. Yeah, it was, oof, okay. So yeah, I can understand that. She stands there while the troll kills her man. Exactly right, Schneidi. Oh, it was so good. Oh, and when I mean good, it was atrociously bad. Patrick says, "I love Lord of the Rings movies." Oh, absolutely. It is my belief that the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the best trilogy ever created. Even better than the original Star Wars trilogy. I will die on that hill. It is cinematic. Those were cinematic masterpieces. Every single one of them should have won best the Oscar for best movie instead of just the Return of the King. They all should have. So many of the actors should have won Oscars. The performances were brilliant. The dialogue was brilliant. I mean, they were brilliant. Brilliant movies. They did not follow the lore 100%. That is true. But the spirit of Tolkien was absolutely in those movies. They did not change the messaging in the movies. I mean, it was there. So yes, you can nitpick and critique it, and there were things that were changed. There were things that were removed, and that, when you're dealing with an adaptation, a book adaptation to the screen, it's impossible to directly make that translation because books are subjective. When you're reading a page in a book and something descriptive, the picture you have in your head is going to be completely different to an extent as the picture that I have in my head. Because there are subjective areas in books. So it would be impossible to exactly translate from book to screen. So there were things that were changed. The very beginning where Frodo just leaves immediately instead of taking 17 years. In the books, he takes 17 years to start his journey. They removed Tom Bombadil. Glorfindel's role was handed to Arwen. I could go on and on and on. There's a lot of things that were different, but it was understandable, and the spirit of Tolkien was absolutely there. So brilliant books. You cannot say the same for this TV series. There is nothing Tolkienian in this show. Nothing at all. They just a couple of the names of a couple of the characters. That's it. But the characters themselves? Nope. Sorry. The Galadriel in this show is not Galadriel. Nope. Sorry. We haven't gotten to him yet, but the Elrond in this book, not Elrond. Nope. Sorry. Just not. Anybody who tries to tell you that they are either doesn't know, has never actually read the material, or they're lying to you. One of those. All right, let's see. I remember the Fellowship maneuvers were awesome. Oh yeah, they were brilliant. It was such a brilliant scene. Like I said, it showed a fellowship acting like a fellowship. It showed a group of individuals coming together and using their individual strengths and using their strengths to shield the weaknesses of the others. So everybody had their own strengths and weaknesses. They worked together. They used their strengths to overcome their weaknesses. They took down the foe together. It was brilliantly done. It's a brilliant scene. Well, let's see. Meant to prop up strong, independent, better than men, Galadriel. That's sadly, unfortunately, that's what it all was. That's what it was. Thanks for saving my time. Oh, you are not wrong. Okay, good. I wish I were. I so badly wanted this to be awesome. Like I said, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. Have been since I was a little kid. But yeah, no. Thanks for saving my time, and I won't be wasting watching it. Yeah, guys, I would say if it's not worth your time. So even like I said in the very, very beginning, setting aside how badly they destroyed the lore, just taking this as a generic fantasy, it's still awful. If this didn't have Lord of the Rings on the title, it's still awful. The characterization is awful. The dialogue is awful. Some of the visuals were hit and miss. Some of them were absolutely beautiful. And they better be if you're spending $1 billion on a TV show. Some of the CGI is awesome. Some of the CGI, not so much. You know, there were some parts in here that we were like, whoa, what? No, that doesn't look right. The writing, the storylines, the characters, so bad. I mean, there is nothing in this series that reaches out and grabs you and makes you want to watch it. There's nothing. I can't think of a single thing that if this didn't have, like I said, the Lord of the Rings name on it, that's the only thing that got me interested, because I am a huge Lord of the Rings fan. Of course, that pulls me in initially, but once the show starts, there's nothing from beginning to end, nothing that I can think of that held my attention and made me want to watch this show. Nothing. Jim says, but says to the viewer, she's such a pathetic leader who watched her men get slaughtered, and then they decide not to not follow her. Yeah, that's exactly right. Number one, it portrays her men as weak and pathetic, but then at the same time, it shows that she's a weak and pathetic leader, because like you said, she just stands there and watches her men get destroyed by these trolls. And the men, like I said, they just stood there. Oh, God, it was so... Oh, it was bad. It was bad. Okay. Let's see here. It's sad, really sad. Yes, absolutely. Same nonsense as The Last of Us 2. Do bloodbath for whole game, and when the time comes to take revenge, revenge is bad. Let the other mutilate you and go away. Yeah, I'm not familiar. I didn't play The Last of Us 2. Actually, I've never even played the original. But from what I've heard by fans of that franchise, the first one was awesome, and the second one totally destroyed what was originally created. Not familiar. I can't really comment to say that one way or another because I've never played the game. But I will take, from what I have heard from other people who have, yeah, pretty much. I like the Mythica movies. It had a likable, strong female lead, so it can be done. Oh, it absolutely can be done. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not familiar with the Mythica movies, though. I'll have to look into that. Let's see. Pretend the zombie jerks are the writers and take out your frustration on them. Yeah, I really should. Again, guys, I apologize. I haven't been doing a lot of 7 Days gameplay. It's been more of me just ranting. But that's kind of what this stream was intended to be. A rant session. Whoa! Bad zombies! Come on out. You did? You did. I saw all these over here, and I was like, oh, let's go kill them. But I forgot about all of these in here. All right. Nut shot. Nutshot. I love the SMG so much, guys. Burns through a lot of ammo, though. All right, let's keep going with chat here. Yep, got that. Ranting right up to Horde Night. Yes, yeah, I have it set for Horde every night. So yeah, we might actually be here long enough to get to a Horde Night. Let's see. Jim, thank you very much for joining the stream. Have a great night, man. Schneidi, they didn't break the lore. I mean, not as much. There were some differences, but they kept to the spirit. They kept to the spirit and the messaging of the books, and you know, it wasn't word for word exactly how it was written. But as I talked about before, when adapting a book to a movie or TV series, that is impossible to do. Some changes have to be made. Just because you're dealing with a different medium. Books and movies are a completely different medium. So there just necessarily have to be some changes, some sacrifices of some things that would not translate well onto the big screen. So yeah, that's I think trying to compare the original Lord of the Rings trilogy to Rings of Power. I mean, there is no comparison. No comparison. Oh, I love it. All right, so let's continue with the story of Galadriel. Warrior Galadriel. All right, where are you guys? In the bathroom? In the bathroom? No. Are you in this room, just hiding in the corner? Oh, nope, you're in that back office. Okay. There we go. Got him. So yeah, like I said, I think that's the format I'm gonna stick to now. We'll cover the other stories after we cover the Galadriel story. Do them one at a time. I think it's probably the best way. That way I can kind of keep things a little straighter in my own mind. Like I said, I've only watched these shows once. Each episode I've watched once, and I will probably never watch the first 2 episodes again. I probably will continue, you know, I don't know, if you guys like me ranting about this kind of stuff and you'd like me to continue, I would not be opposed to it. But, yeah, we'll see. I may continue with the series, I may not. We'll see. All right, so they all quit, they go home, and we cut to Elrond, who is not Elrond. This... Oh, no. So we first see Elrond sitting in the tree. So he's sitting in a tree, and he's writing a speech for Gil-galad. Gil-galad, the High King of the elves. Very important figure in the Second Age. All around badass. Just an awesome fighter, awesome leader, just an awesome character in the books. But they've turned Elrond from a warrior, from the actual commander of the elven armies, into Gil-galad's speech writer. He's Gil-galad's herald. Okay, so our first glimpse of him. And he looks nothing like Hugo Weaving. There is no similarity whatsoever. And Elrond is a very, very strong individual. I mean, he is a leader. He is a warrior. He is everything they try to make Galadriel out to be in this series. Elrond actually is. He is the badass warrior. He is the you know. But they make him. One of the lines is, "Oh, you're just a politician." It's like, oh, come on, come on. All right, whatever. So we get our first glimpse of Elrond, and yeah, he's sitting in a tree, writing a writing a speech. And this other elf walks up and says, "You will not be allowed, or you're not going to be joining the next council meeting. It's for elf lords only. You are not you're not welcome." And he's like, "Okay, whatever." Whoa, die! Where are you? I think there's a bird out here. Somebody's out here. Where are you? I see the red dot. Where is it? I have no idea. Okay. Well, we'll keep going. And then, so he's like, okay, cool. And then the elf goes, "Oh, and your friend has arrived." And he perks up. He's like, ooh, Galadriel's here. They totally turn him into a wuss, a simp, whatever you want to call him. He's not Elrond. That is not Elrond. No. So he goes to meet Galadriel, and they chat and come on out. I know you guys are in there. Come on, buddy. Oh. There we go. Got him. And the interactions between Galadriel and Elrond are just, the dialogue throughout is trash, but the interaction between Elrond and Galadriel, probably some of the worst dialogue. It's it's laughably bad. So yes, Elrond's like, you disobeyed the king. He's not very happy with you, but he's having mercy. Instead of, punishing you, he's going to reward you for all of your years of hard work and dedication and searching for the evil that is Sauron and blah, 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 blah. The entire time, Galadriel is just unsufferable and just unlikable. Her responses to his the things that Elrond is saying are you're like, what is wrong with you, lady? That's what I thought to myself the entire time. I'm like, why are you acting like this? Why? I mean, it made no sense. It's like, this is not how human beings or elves, or this is not how people talk to each other. Not at all. It was, they just make her so unlikable. Just absolutely unlikable in every way. All right, I'm missing. Are you above? Are you below? Oh, we'll keep going. We'll stumble across him, I'm sure. Yeah, she's. What's in here? Nothing. Okay. All right. So yeah, so they whoa, buddy. Sit down. You too. Sit down. Bad zombies. So yeah, Elrond says, you got to let this go. You're going to be honored. You're not going to be punished. The king was very, very disappointed in that you disobeyed his orders, but he decided to have mercy on you. Instead of punishing you, you're gonna be honored and blah 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 blah. But she just won't let it go, right? She's like, no, the evil's still out there, and I've got to continue my search and blah 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 blah. I know I'm right. You guys are all wrong. You have to listen to me. I need to, oh, it's so bad. The dialogue between them is just so bad. All right, where are these guys? Are they I don't know. We'll keep going. Yeah, so, then, she's like, I need to talk, I need to give my report to the king directly, right? I have to speak to the king directly. So, they turn her from, like, at the moment, we've already established that she's the bestest ever, right? And then she literally has an I demand to speak to your manager moment. It literally was a I demand to speak to the manager. I laughed so hard when she's like, will you allow me to speak to the king? I mean, it was literally her saying, I demand to speak to the manager. So not only is she insufferable, unlikable, I said it before and I'm going to say it again, just a bitch, an all-around bitch. Now, not only is she that, she's also a Karen. So, Elrond's like, you've done enough, you know, oh, look at all the whites. Hey guys, good to see you. Need you to die now. Alright, you dead? Nope. There we go. Now you dead. I don't know who that is, but... oh well, we'll keep going. Alright. Oh, piggies. I see a piggy. There we got him. I think there's another one in this other one here. Yep, and they are hostile. There we go. Got him. Excuse me. So then we go and the Gil-galad's giving a speech saying, for all of your hard work, you know, you will be honored by returning to the Undying Lands. That is how you will be rewarded for your centuries of hard work in your pursuit, in your search for Sauron. You are going to, and that's a big deal, guys. Number one, I don't think Gil-galad has the ability to grant injury into Valinor. I think that's the Valar. They are the ones who get to say who can come and who can't. So even though he's the king of the High King of the Elves on Middle Earth, yeah, I don't think he really has. It's not really his say that Galadriel can return to Valinor, but whatever. Okay. So, initially, you know, she's standing there in her armor and in full dress, and she has this. She always has this look on her face. It's like constant resting bitch face. I mean, and her her facial expressions rarely change, and when they do, they change from resting bitch face to outright bitch face. And I'm not trying to be crass, guys. I'm really not, but that's what it was. That was it. It was, yeah, pretty much. Just want to make sure there's nobody in there. All right, we're going outside. There we go. Yep. Hey, guys. You did. Oh, I see him. You did. I hear ya. Where are ya? Hello? Birdie. I hear the stupid bird flapping. I just don't see him. Alright, well, let's go over here. Huh? Stupid bird? Ah, there you are. Bye. Alright. So, initially, she's reluctant. She doesn't want to give up her quest, accept the honor of being welcomed back into Valinor, which is it's basically elf paradise. It's where the elves originally came from. I won't get into the whole backstory of why the elves are now in Middle Earth. There's a reason why Galadriel is there, and yet at this time she is not welcome back in Valinor. She doesn't earn that. She doesn't earn that honor until she refuses the ring when offered it by Frodo. When she passes the test, and that allows her to return to Valinor. So yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. It's not a trivial matter. And any elf that had been banished or left Valinor and not able to return, having that ability to return, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So yeah. So she reluctantly, puts her head, bows her head, and allows the king to put the little ceremonial crown on her head, saying, good job, you did great. The war is over. You've done fantastic work. Now you get to. Oh, I'm hungry here. Let's eat some sketty. And we'll drink some water here too. So yeah, big deal. Awesome. And she's reluctant at first, but eventually she accepts it. And so after that, we get another conversation between Elrond and Galadriel, and she is still like, I can't do it. I can't give up my quest. I know he's still out there. And they totally make Elrond look like a wuss, like a total wuss throughout this entire thing. And there's the dialogue between them, again, atrocious. But there's there's a part, now if you guys have seen the trailers, you know what part I'm talking about. It's the part where Galadriel says, you have not seen what I have seen, and Elrond says, I have seen my share, and she retorts, you have not seen what I have seen. It's like it reminded me of like middle school kids, how they get into arguments like, yeah, 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 It just seemed so childish. Number one, it makes Elrond. It's like Galadriel saying to Elrond, you're a pussy. You haven't done anything. You just sit here and write your speeches and poems. You haven't seen, totally making Elrond out to be just a wuss. Just a wuss. A weak, pathetic wuss. Like he's not, and of course she has seen all the evil ever, because she's the bestest ever, and in order to be the bestest ever, you have had to experience everything, and and he doesn't know. No, he doesn't know. But that's what flashed in my mind, was like two 12-year-olds or two 10-year-olds arguing, and it was like, yeah, nuh-uh, yeah, nuh-uh. That's what I had going through my mind. And it's so bad. It's bad. Yeah, so there's so much more dialogue that I'm skipping over. So much more just awfulness that I haven't touched on yet. And like I said, guys, I'm gonna miss a lot. So yeah, I could literally go through, if I had the script in front of me, I could literally go through this line by line, second by second. Oh, okay. All right. Let's get into a better position here. Let's get them all up. Got him. Got her. Whoop. Nope. Oh, my arm's sprained. Okay, time to go. Up. Go in here. Okay, there we go. All right. Get them all lined up. Come on in, you Zama jerks. Come on in. Spray and pray. Spray and pray. Now turn and go. Get back here. And oh, no. Buddy, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hey, Bo, how you doing? Sorry, guys. Give me a second. I'll get back to it in a second. All right, let's go round up the stragglers. I see you in there. All right, I can get you from outside. There we go. Why are you crawling? There's literally nothing there. God, the crawling animation in this game is so bad. There we go. Got him. There's a couple more. Couple more red dots on my screen. All right, where was I? I completely forgot where I was. We're gonna have to go back down and grab the ones that we missed. Oh, hey, buddy. This way. Is there a way I can jump? Whoa. That dot got really close. It's got to be a vulture. Right? Whoa, not good, not good, not good. Okay. I did not mean to do that. Well, let's get back inside. All right. Yeah, so the dialogue between Elrond and Galadriel, bad. Galadriel's not Galadriel. Elrond is not Elrond. Just, no. Yeah, so eventually, Galadriel gets on the boat. Oh, and this was this scene. All right, is it getting bigger or smaller? I don't know. I don't know. Where are these few stragglers? I have no idea. Oh, there's a screamer out there too. So that's the way you're supposed to go through it. Where is this last zombie? I want to complete this thing. Go in here. I think it's up more. Where are you? Where are you? Now it's small again. That's a problem with some of these bigger POIs and the clears. It always usually comes down to finding one straggler. It looks like it's maybe it is down. I don't know, guys. I don't know where this last zombie is. I hate this room. It's like you have to run around the whole room like 3 or 4 times just to get to the other side. All right. Okay, so there's some there, and there's some up. What the heck? No, I think the quest is glitching out. Because the yellow dots appeared, and then they disappeared. It's got to be down further here. All right. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's, ooh, I hear a screamer. Is it outside? It can't be, right? Oh, there's a screamer. Oh, darn it. I clicked. She did? Nope. There, she's dead. Okay. Bring any friends in? Okay, so now the yellow dot is back. Interesting. Okay. Another one. Screw you, lady. I'll deal with you in a second. Alright, so they're one more floor up. I'll get back to it here in a second, guys. I just want to find this this last zombie, whoever it is. I'm on a mission. I'm on a quest. I know there's a zombie still alive, and I will hunt it down. We're gonna take a shortcut. Let's see. Long way down. Yeah. Did a clear quest at the mall. That was fun. Oh, I bet that would have been awesome. The mall is such a fun POI. Okay. Hello? Where the heck are you? Oh. How did you get out there, bud? Here. Found him. Here, buddy, I'm going to help you out here. I'm going to make a hole for you. There we go. Hey, bud, going over. Hey. There we go. That was the last one. We did it. Quest complete. Alright. Oh, he was out here, but... Interesting. Alright, well. Parkour! Lady. Bat. Screaming at me. Okay, so back to Galadriel. She's decides to take the boat, take the ship, and sail for the Undying Land. She's taking the honor and heading back to Valinor. And this next sequence is just ridiculous in so many ways. So we cut to a boat out on the water, right? Out sailing the Sundering Seas, right? So these elves are going from Middle-earth to Valinor. They're crossing the Sundering Seas, right? Basically, think of it like crossing the Atlantic, right? Going from like sailing from England to New York. Okay? Galadriel is in the front, just standing in the boat, right? Just standing there in full armor. And all of her company, the ones that searched for Sauron with her, are lined up in perfect straight lines, just standing there like statues in a row, sailing for Valinor. Guys, I don't know if anybody's ever been on a boat, but again, this is a scene that's meant to make you feel like it's epic, right? Like they're standing there triumphant, on a boat in the middle of the ocean in perfect lines, still as statues. If you've ever been on a boat out in the ocean, no. No. The boat rocks. The boat moves. And also, who is sailing the boat? There's nobody working the rigging. There's nobody, trimming the sails or working any of the mechanics of the boat itself. It's just, I mean, yeah, the elves, they were magic, but their boats weren't magic boats. It's like, magic cars that drive themselves. It wasn't like that. They actually had people operating the mechanisms of the boat, like the sails and the rigging and the ropes and all of that. But in the first scene, it's just the elves that were searching for Sauron in perfectly straight lines, and then Galadriel in the very, very front center, just standing there like statues on the boat. And there's nobody else there. Makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. Then later on, maybe they came from underneath, but I don't know. They were all taking a nap. The other elves. But so another group of elves. They're still lined up like statues, right, on the ship, on the boat. Perfectly still, not moving, okay, whatever. And then I guess they were trying to make it like a ceremony where they are removing their armor, putting their weapons, so they're all just standing there like statues, and another group of elves comes and starts, removing their armor, and they take off their outer layer of clothing and leave the basic white dress-like thing that Galadriel's been shown in before, especially like during the battle or after the battle where she's stacking the helmets. That outfit, that's what they're dressing or stripping them down to. And they're all, all of these helper elves or whoever's disrobing them or removing the armor, they are, they're taking, slowly, methodically taking the armor off, taking the outer clothing off, taking the weapons, and Galadriel's holding the dagger, holding her brother's dagger in her hand, and the elf reaches out to take it from her. It's I think it's supposed to symbolize, laying down your arms and embracing your life of peace. You're re-entering Valinor, you're re-entering paradise, so there's no need to have the armor and the weapons, and you're letting go of that. You're letting go of war, you're letting go of conflict to embrace
well, that didn't take long.
No, it didn't at all. I don't care. Just give me stuff here, lady. And we're just going to go run around and kill things while we... there we go. All right, bye. Okay. Yeah, so I'm guessing that's what they were going for. But it makes no sense. And she's holding onto the dagger, and the elf reaches out to take it from her, and she just won't let it go, and then, okay, fine. She finally lets it go. And, yeah. This is the point where we get back to that scene that I mentioned at the very beginning, where her brother leans down and whispers something in her ear, and they make it seem like it's something profound, right? Something so meaningful, and it's gonna play such an important role. And we find out what he says to her. So what he says, and I'm not going to get it exactly right. I'm probably going to paraphrase. I can't remember exactly the word for word what he said. But the gist of what he says is sometimes in order to recognize the light, we first must touch the darkness. And that was the line that like I say, guys, in my normal day-to-day life, I don't curse much. I rarely curse on stream, try to keep it family friendly. That was the line where I literally, when he said that, I literally looked at the screen and I said, just fuck off. That line right there pissed me off. That is the antithesis of the messages of Tolkien. That in order to know the light, you have to touch the darkness. In other words, in order to recognize good, you have to dabble in evil. That's what the brother was saying. In order to know what goodness is, it's acceptable. It's okay. It's understandable. It's actually required that you touch the evil, that you embrace, that you dabble, or it's the exact opposite of everything that those books meant. Tolkien was all about. It's not gigantic acts. It's not gigantic figures. It's not big things that keeps evil at bay. It's small things. It's small acts of kindness. That's why even the littlest among us, that's why the hobbits played such an important role in the story. It was a way of saying that you don't need the mighty hero to save the world. It's the small acts of goodness, the small acts of kindness that defeat evil, that keep evil at bay. Not, you have to touch the evil, you have to immerse yourself in the evil before you will be able to recognize the evil as evil and know what the good is. It's the exact opposite of what Tolkien's the message that Tolkien stood for. And I was just flabbergasted. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? So, okay. Hated that line. Thought it was atrocious. Thought they were spitting in the face of Tolkien. It was disgusting. Really was disgusting. But that being said, let's take that message that's supposed to be so profound and so impactful, and let's apply it to the current situation. Galadriel is on a boat, right? They literally used the boat analogy in the conversation between the brother and Galadriel, right? The boat looks up. The boats don't look up. The boat looks up to the light, right? So there she is on a boat, right? And she's like, yeah, but the light reflects on the water. So how do I know if the light on the water is the real light or the light in the sky is the real light? How will I be able to tell the difference? Well, you have to touch the darkness, but you don't want to submerge and go into the darkness, like a stone, right? Yeah, so she's literally on a boat. Valinor is opening before her. It's literally an opening of light, right? So instead of recognizing the light for the good, she does literally what the analogy at the very beginning says. She dives grabs the knife, grabs the dagger that's laying on the ship, picks up her brother's dagger again, and dives into the ocean. Makes no sense. The what he told her makes no sense. She literally chooses the evil. In that analogy, the water was the evil. She knows right? She knows the light. She knows the light is good. The water is the evil, right? It sucks you down. The stone, it sucks you down, right? Okay. So she chooses to jump off the boat. She neglects rejects the light, rejects the good, rejects the paradise in Valinor. And I guess it's supposed to be like she's sacrificing her place in paradise because and embracing the evil, touching the evil because she has to stop the evil. I guess I don't know, but then just think about this, okay? Oh my God, guys! She's on a boat. She sails the equivalent of from England to America. Gets all the way to the shores of America and jumps off the boat. That implies that her plan. Keep in mind, elves do have more endurance. They do have more strength than humans, than men. Very true. But it implies that her plan is to jump off the boat. Okay, again, keep in mind we're basically thinking from England to America, right? Crossing the Atlantic Ocean. She takes the boat across, gets to New York, gets to her destination's right there. And her brilliant plan, because she can't give up her quest for revenge, is to jump off the boat in the middle of the ocean and swim back to Middle-earth. This entire show, they're trying to portray Galadriel as the bestest ever. The smartest. She always, her intuition was spot on. She always knew. She knew there was a passageway behind that ice. She knew that mark was there. She knew what the mark meant, right? She's so brilliant. She's so brilliant. And her brilliant plan to get back to Middle-earth is to jump in the ocean and swim. Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. Brilliant. She's pretty much, instead of entering Valinor, going to paradise, instead she decides, you know what? I'm just going to kill myself. Because let's be real, guys, I don't care if she is an elf. There is no way that she would be able to swim across the entire Sundering Sea from Valinor to Middle-earth. Impossible. Even for an elf. And if she were so smart, she would know that. So I guess her plan was to just kill herself. I guess. I think what the show's trying to say is, no, she's brave, she's strong. She could totally make that swim. What are you talking about? She could totally make that swim. Now keep in mind, a sailboat, right? A sailboat going from... and the distances are pretty equivalent. I think it's something like... Maybe it might not be quite as big as as going from Europe to America across the Atlantic Ocean, but it's pretty close. I think it's pretty close. On a sailboat, a trip going from America to Europe, or from Europe to America, took weeks and weeks and weeks. On a boat. Boats move a lot faster than people, even elves, can swim. So that means that it would have taken her months probably to make that swim. With no food, no water, no opportunity, no ability to rest, no ability. Just swim. Just make that swim from Valinor to Middle Earth. She's brilliant, guys. She's the bestest ever, and that was her brilliant plan. Oh, this is another moment where my buddies and I just busted out laughing. We were like, really? That's what they went with? She's just gonna jump off the boat and swim? Okay. Okay. Oh, man. Okay, guys. So that's how the first the Galadriel saga in the first episode. That's how it ends. She jumps off the boat right before getting to Valinor and decides to swim back to Middle Earth. Okay. Craig, welcome to the stream. I'm not sure if I'm at burnout, but every time I hop on 7 days, tried to go different builds, but it just seems the same. Probably makes no sense, but I feel the game is built around the trader instead of being a survival game. Craig, you are not wrong. And unfortunately, the trader is going to get more and more the focal point of 7 Days to Die. I have a video coming out next week, guys, that's going to be discussing some of the upcoming changes in Alpha 21, and I do go into that. So, Craig, you're not alone. There are a lot of 7 Days players who are burnt out on 7 Days, myself included. It's Alpha 20 was a big nothing burger. It was largely cosmetic. It didn't really add anything new gameplay-wise, which is why a lot of players, they were initially excited, wanted to give it a chance. Once they got into it, that excitement faded very, very quickly. And that's why most of the 7 Days content creators that I'm aware of anyway, do not cover vanilla 7 Days to Die. Everybody that still plays 7 Days to Die has moved on to Darkness Falls or Undead Legacy, or some of the other mods that have been created for the game, because 7 Days vanilla is just that, very vanilla. And unfortunately, it's very trader-centric. It's pretty much the traders are the epicenter of 7 Days, and the changes coming in Alpha 21 look like that is going to be even more so. You're going to have to rely on the trader for a lot more stuff. Just basic stuff in order to play the game is now going to be focused on the trader. So yeah, you're not alone there. You don't feel alone there, because there's a lot of 7 Days to Die players out there that feel the exact same way. So yeah, put your mind at ease, man. You're not alone there. Absolutely. Okay. Man, we're 2 hours in, and let me burn through the other two storylines in the first episode. Then we'll tackle the second episode. I'll try to go quicker, guys. I won't stop, and you've got my overall feelings on the dialogue is atrocious, characterization is atrocious. Some of the visuals are cool. Some of the visuals are nice, and some of them are just like, they just don't look right. Especially considering they spent $58 million an episode on this show, and when the show is, when all said and done, it's going to be a $1 billion TV show. So if the visuals, and the visuals should be perfect. The visuals should be spotless. I mean, there should be no CGI problems whatsoever. That's not the case. There are. A lot of it does look really good. But a lot of it does not. And, you know, you've got to be honest I've got to be honest with you guys about it. I'm not as flustered or some people take the visual effects and that kind of thing very, very seriously. Bad CGI doesn't bother me as much as it bothers other people. It's noticeable. It is. I mean, and to say it's not is a lie. There are scenes in this show that it's obvious that it's CGI. Good CGI should not. It should look real, right? When you watch a scene with good CGI, you don't know that it's CGI, or you may know like in the back of your mind, but it looks like it's real. Everything looks blended together naturally. It looks natural. I guess natural would be a better word for it. But bad CGI, because a lot of times CGI, you'll have the characters right in the front of the shot, and then the CGI is in the back. So the actors will be acting in front of a green screen, and they'll be interacting, and then behind them you'll have the scenery, you'll have the CGI. And good CGI blends the background and the characters. Everything is in focus together, all that fun stuff. So that's good CGI. And there are some scenes in this that are beautiful, some of the visuals are some of the cinematography is great, and then there are other scenes where it is obvious CGI. It is obvious. The characters in the front do not match well with the scene, what's going on around them and behind them. That's the sign of bad CGI. A good CGI, everything blends together, and you can tell the difference. Even somebody who doesn't go out of their way to critique CGI and point out every little thing that's wrong, you can tell the difference between good CGI and bad CGI. I mean, it's not that difficult to tell, and it bothers some people a lot more than it bothers me. But there are scenes where it's noticeable, and you have to acknowledge that. But yeah, basically, dialogue, terrible. Writing, terrible. Characterization, terrible. Characters in the show, terrible. The ones that we've touched on so far there's not a single one of the characters we've talked about in the Galadriel saga that are likable, that are good characters. They're all awful. And not just awful in the sense of bad people or bad beings. I mean, there's just nothing about them. They're not engaging. There's nothing about any of these characters that's compelling at all. Nothing. So the next part of the storyline, or the next storyline, is the Harfoots. First thing, Harfoots are not separate from hobbits. Harfoots are hobbits. There are 3 types of hobbits: the Harfoots, the Stores, and the Fallowhides. A Harfoot is just a segment of the hobbit population. Let's get that straight. Let's get that out there right away. Harfoots are not predecessors to hobbits. They are hobbits. Okay? Second thing, hobbits had no impact on the Second Age whatsoever. They didn't even keep records. The hobbits in the second, because there were hobbits in the Second Age, but they didn't keep records. They didn't have any impact on any of the world events whatsoever. They didn't make an impact at all until well into the Third Age. That's when you started. They started having an impact on the world. They were nothing. They were insignificant nothing in the Second Age. There were hobbits, but they were nothing. And I guess in the show, the storyline or the story of the the Harfoots, because they can't say hobbits, because I think they'd probably get sued if they use the term hobbits. That's why they're very specific to say no, they're not hobbits, they're Harfoots. When Harfoots are hobbits, I mean, it's asinine. It's like, come on, guys, did you read any of this? Did you read any of this? Trying to say that Harfoots and hobbits are different things, it's stupid. It's stupid. So it'd be like saying, okay, I'm an American, right? It'd be like saying, oh, no. No. Those are Nebraskans. They're not Americans, they're Nebraskans. Oh, no. Those are New Yorkers. They're not Americans, those are New Yorkers. Oh, no. Those are Californians. They're not Americans. They're Californians. It's like, no. Nebraskans are Americans. New Yorkers are Americans. Californians are Americans. Harfoots are hobbits. Hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Apparently, whoever wrote this, it's like, come on, seriously, it's just dumb. So let's get to the Harfoots, and I'll try. We're already 2.5 hours in, guys. I'll try to keep it brief. The Harfoots are. They're dirty, grimy. They're trying to make it more whimsical and I'm trying to think of how to best describe them. It's like, have you guys ever been to like a local play or like a high school play? That's what it felt like. It felt like I was watching, the local production of Willow. That's what it felt like. The actors were just ridiculous. Their performances, they're just trying so hard. And so we have the main characters in this storyline. We have Nori and her friend, basically female Frodo and female Sam. That's what we got. Community theater, yeah. Is that what I said? I don't remember how I put it, but yeah, it was like a high school production or a local community theater production. That's what it felt like when I was watching this. The performances were just so bad. And I will say that the one who plays Nori, I think it's her name, Nori Brandy Buck or Brandy whatever, Brandyfoot. I don't remember. The main female Frodo. I'm just gonna call her female Frodo because that's what they're trying to make her out to be. Female Frodo. She was probably the most competent actor in this portion or this storyline. It's like she was trying to be competent, and everyone around her, all the other Harfoots, hobbits, whatever, were just in a high school musical or a community theater production. So she was the best of the bad, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, they just beat you over the head. And this is another sign of bad writing, guys. They don't know how to use subtext. They don't know how to let the scene explain the characters. Instead, they had to over and over again tell you that Nori was adventurous and she was the rebel and she wanted to see what was out there and over and over again. They didn't show you that. They kind of did, because she went off out to the farm that was further out, than that they were supposed to go, and yeah. So, but they not good writing. You don't have to explain everything regarding the characters. You can show the audience that that she is adventurous. You can show the audience that she's a bit of a rebel without having to say over and over again, she's adventurous. She's a rebel. She, she doesn't listen to the authority. She does her own thing, and blah 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 blah. And it's like over and over and over and over and over again. They just hammer you on the head with it out loud. They verbally tell you what she is over and over and over again, because the writers are writing it. So when you with writers, you can only write to your level of intellect. You can only write to your level of understanding. So when the writers are writing this, they're thinking that this is great writing, because if they were the audience, they would need to be told over and over and over and over and over again who this character is. Instead of being shown through the character's actions, they would need to be told very bluntly, very, just throw it in your face, with dialogue, who this character is. Because if they were the viewers, that's what they would need. So that's why they write it, because they think you as the viewer are too stupid to figure out by her actions what kind of character she is. That's bad characterization. That's bad writing. Horrible. And it was throughout this entire thing. The hobbits come off as just dirty, filthy, pretty much hobos. That's what they seemed like. And the acting was atrocious. The storylines were stupid. I don't even know why they were there. There's a part at the end, and then in the second episode, where I guess we kind of get a little reason why they're there. But it really doesn't tie into anything at all. I think even during one of the interviews, one of the showrunners or writers or one of the higher ups in the series said that it wouldn't feel like Middle Earth if there were no hobbits. So that's why they had to put the hobbits into this storyline or into this series, even though they had no impact on the Second Age whatsoever. They didn't keep records. They were nothing burgers. They were not a part of the Second Age whatsoever. So they were thrown into the series just for the sake of throwing them into the series. And of course, you have female Frodo, female Sam. I'm not an accent expert, but the accents were all over the place. They weren't. This didn't feel like a coherent or they didn't feel like a community of like a town. They were like a village, a close knit group of people. But their accents were all over the place. It was weird. It was just weird. And the things they were saying, again, they were trying to come off as whimsical and fun, and it fell flat. It was bad. But the first full episode, it was pretty much nothing. That we find, okay, so they hide from the big folk. They hide from everybody, right? They're kind of a rumor, right? When we see it, there's a scene with these hunters, and they're like, oh, it must be a Harfoot around. They're very dangerous folks. And the other guy's like, what the heck are you talking about? I have no idea what you're even talking about. That's just a myth, kind of making them out to be like Bigfoot or something, So they hide from all of the big folk. They're isolationists. They want to stay away. They don't want anybody knowing they're there, and they want nothing to do with the other races of Middle Earth. Yet somehow they magically know all about all of the other races in Middle Earth. They know that the elves have their trees, and the dwarves have their mines, and the men have their fields of grain. How? It doesn't look like they're really up for conversations with all these other. So how did they learn all this? I don't know. I don't care. The whole storyline was a nothing burger. It was just, why is this here? That's what I kept asking myself when any time there was a scene with the Harfoots. It's like, why is this here? What is this adding to the story? And we kind of get a little bit of an answer later on, but it's a very little answer, and it's kind of a what the heck answer. In fact, let's get to it. So, yeah, nothing happens throughout the entire first episode with this group. I mean, they kind of just introduced, and we kind of get a little background info of them. They're the homeless hobbits. I mean, they're dirty, they're filthy. They're I don't know. Even their lifestyle doesn't make sense, right? Because when we were first introduced, right, you see the hunters, and then you see something scurry by, and that's when the one guy says, "Oh, must be a Harfoot. They're dangerous. Be careful." Okay, whatever. And then you see one of the Harfoots pop up, got grass all over their head, and a stupid big smile on their face, like, "Aha! They didn't find us again. Hoo hoo! Oh ho! Hee hee! I'm so whimsical." Yeah, and then we cut to the forest, and I forget the guy's name, Samek, something like that. One of the head hobbits comes, opens up, comes out of his little hiding place. He sniffs the air, literally sniffs the air, and he's like, "Okay, it's safe." And then we take the next 2 or 3 minutes, or however long, all of these hobbits coming out of their hiding places, and it's just like, if their whole goal is to stay hidden, that strategy would not work, because it would take so much time to pack everything up. Because they open up and they come out of their carts, and they come out of trees and all this stuff, and then they set up all of this. Like, they have stations where they're processing snails and berries and workstations and all of this stuff, right? So somehow we're meant to believe that these creatures have been able to, for all of these years, right, centuries and centuries during the Second Age, they were able to hide, and they're so good at it that that they are just kind of a myth amongst the big folk, right? But what we see, the way they actually achieve that goal of hiding, would take forever. It would take forever for them to get everything packed up. So we're led to believe that there's some hunters that are coming by, and they hear them coming from afar, and they have enough time to pack everything up and get in, cover everything, get inside, get in their hole before the men, and they were able to do this for centuries. Makes no sense. To me, anyway. Makes no sense. That's a horrible strategy. It wouldn't work. And they were never found by anybody. Just a myth, and it was so stupid. So it's so stupid. And again, throughout the entire thing, I was asking myself, why are they here? What are they adding? What is the point? What is their role in this story? At first I thought, well, maybe they're the comic relief, but they're not funny. They're trying desperately to appear whimsical and okay, but it's not. It's not funny. It's, like I said, felt like a high school production. Felt like community theater. It was yeah. Yeah, it was. So, yeah, nothing happens throughout the entire thing. And then female Frodo and female Sam are out. And then we have the comet come across, and it lands and explodes right by the hobbits. And, of course, right by female Frodo, female Sam. And their story on the first episode ends with the naked man in the middle of the giant ring of fire that's supposed to look like the Eye of Sauron, but it's not. It's guys, it's Gandalf. It's either Gandalf or a fake Gandalf. Yeah. Yeah. if they kept hidden into themselves, how do they become a myth? Exactly, Kelly. That's exactly right. And how do they know all of this information about all the other races? None of it makes sense. So yeah, that's pretty. I rushed through that because there was nothing there. The Hobbit story is nothing. It's nothing. Okay, if I can give a theory, right? I honestly 100% believe that it's Gandalf. That the guy who came down in a meteor, it's Gandalf. It is Gandalf. And when we talk about the second episode, I will give you specific reasons why. It screamed, this is Gandalf. And I think that the writers are trying to say, because in the books, Gandalf is like the only major figure in Middle-earth that thought anything of the hobbits, right? He's the one who said that there's something about them, right? There's untapped strength in the hobbits. There's something about them that's special and unique and beneficial to Middle-earth, and they're going to have a key role to play in saving. He just knew that. But he was the only one, right? Really the only one who ever put stock in the hobbits, and just knew that there was more to them than met the eye. And I think what they're gonna try to do is say that when he comes over from Valinor, that it was the hobbits who found him. It was the hobbits who took care of him at the very beginning, because he's in the beginning he's shown as being kind of he doesn't know how to speak. He doesn't know how to he doesn't know the common tongue to interact with the population. So he can't speak. He can't communicate. And I think it's going to be that the hobbits were the ones who found him, and so that's why Gandalf likes them so much, because when he first came over and he was in need, they were the ones who stepped up and helped him. That's what I think they're going for. That's what I think they're going to try to pull off with this farce. Yeah, that is my guess. I believe wholeheartedly that it is Gandalf, which is ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But I believe wholeheartedly that is what they're going for. That is Gandalf. They may not outright say it, because I don't know if they can outright say it, but that I would bet dollars to donuts that's exactly what they're going for. So, all right, that's pretty much the Hobbits, or the Harfoots, or the whatever. Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about the last little. Guys, since we're already 3 hours in, I think I'm gonna keep this review just to episode 1. There's just so much in it that we had to. I don't know if I could get through episode 2. Maybe I'll come back and do another stream tomorrow or sometime next week. Yeah. So maybe we'll just finish up with episode 1 and cover episode 2 down the road, because we're already almost 3 hours in. Here, real quick, it's community theater for sure. Yep. Patrick says, greetings, Halloween is on the way. It is indeed. I read that comment from Kelly. Yeah, Schneidi agrees it's Gandalf. He said he'd bet a paycheck on it. Lord of Lek. Okay, welcome to the stream. Thank you. The great algorithm is a strange beast sometimes. Yes, it is. No, they cannot call him Gandalf. Yeah, I think that's right. I don't think they can outright say that he's Gandalf. Right now, they just refer to him as the Stranger. But it's Gandalf. I'm telling you guys, it's Gandalf. Which is just ridiculous. So yeah. Let me burn through the third. The third story in this first, the third arc, I guess, or the third. We'll just say story. In the first episode, was the forbidden love angle between the elf and the human healer lady. And I will say that the elf is. I'm not going to get into the controversy around him, guys. Tolkien was very descriptive. He was very descriptive, very specific, and he described the elves very, very well. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. The people who argue that, well, he didn't say specific. Well, no, he did. He specifically said, and it's the whole reason of doing it. It's another thing that drives me crazy. Tolkien's world, his goal was to create a mythos for the English people, right? That was his goal. He was probably the most descriptive writer in fantasy history. I mean, he would take pages to describe a room, you know. Yeah. So I don't see why it is such a controversial thing to say this is a fantasy world that was very descriptive by the author. When I'm watching entertainment, I'm watching entertainment for entertainment's sake. I'm trying to escape the real world and indulge or immerse myself in the fantasy world as it was written. And Tolkien was very specific on who the elves were and what they looked like. Okay, so that being said, put that aside. I really don't care. This elf was, I mean, he was kind of wooden. He was kind of a plank. He wasn't very. I wouldn't say the acting was like the best ever, but in this show, it was one of the better performances, I would say. There were some things in this that were just so on the nose, ridiculous allegories. And again, Tolkien hated allegory, but there were some pretty on the nose allegories in this that have to do with that whole, with modern, whatever you want to call it, modern issues, the issues that we are facing in the modern day. Okay. Keep in mind, guys, this is a fantasy world. It's a fantasy world. We should be dealing with the world of the fantasy, right? That world. This isn't the real world. This is the fantasy world that this story takes place in. The real world should have no effect on fantasy world. That's if I want real world, I'll turn on the news. I watch fantasy worlds because I want to immerse myself in the fantasy world. Why is that so difficult to understand? And why is that such a bad thing? Why? I don't get it. I don't understand. Why? Anyway, I digress. So the story pretty much is he's an elf. That his company has been watching over this village. This village they were porters of Morgoth way long ago. There's a line in here where one of the guys says, you are blaming us for, or the people that were evil, right? They died off 1,000 years ago. So the elves have been pretty much like an occupying military force over, lording over this village because they supported Morgoth 1,000 years ago. That's the basis for this whole thing. So yeah, but there's a lot of on the nose, real world bullshit in this storyline that I would just like, come on, guys, please, why are you doing this? It's so stupid. Just stop it. Just stop it. Why is this here? But that being said, the Arondir, I think's the guy's name. you know what? He's an elf. I mean, yeah, okay, cool. He portrays his performance. His performance is probably, I wouldn't say it's good because he's very plankish, but yeah, in comparison to a lot of the other actors, a lot of the other performances in the show, I would say his was, you know, among one of the better performances. So, yeah. But yeah, he's tasked. He's part of a group. They have a watchtower that's to look over this village and keep an eye on them because 1,000 years ago they supported the evil Morgoth, and you know, you never know. You never know. There's even a line that says that the blood of the ancestors still runs through your veins. So it's pretty much the sons are responsible for the sins of the father, even though the, you know, sins were done 1,000 years ago. Whatever. Again, it's a very on the nose allegory for some of the modern day sentiments, some of the modern day things that people are discussing. So it's just it's unnecessary. It's ridiculous. This is Tolkien's fantasy world. It's not the real world. Stop bringing the real world and sensibilities into it. I hate that aspect of modern entertainment. It's asinine. Hate it. Anyway, so yeah, he goes in and the local townsfolk they're all just dirty and mean and nasty and just you know, awful humans. But then there's this one girl who, okay, all of the other guys or all the other town residents are filthy and mean and disgusting and just portrayed as awful. And then she is like, she's a very beautiful woman, and she has, you know, she's in a spotless, perfect, beautiful looking, it's a very, you know, simple, elegant design dress. She's, you know, totally she's not dirty at all. Totally, I mean, just she sticks out like a sore thumb compared to everybody else. So the writers are trying to tell you, she's the good one, guys. She's the good one. These other guys, yeah, they're bad. These are bad people. She's the good one. She's, you know, again, it's like just so in your face. She's the good one. She's the smart one. She knows. She's, you know, all these other, look at these filthy animals. They're all disgusting and mean and it was okay, whatever. So she's out back by the well. The elf goes out of the pub after a confrontation with the mean, nasty people inside, and she's talking to the lady, and she gives him some seeds, and he's like, "Oh, cool seeds, thanks. What do you do with them?" "Oh, we crush them." And he's like, "Oh, you crushed them?" And her response is, "Well, gently." It's like, okay. Again, dialogue awful, atrocious. So yeah, they're just still continuing to talk, and she asks him, "Do you have healers among your kind, right?" And he's like, "We do, but ours are called, what word did they use? Artificers, something like that." Because our bodies, the physical wounds on our bodies heal naturally, right? So again, this is another example of that flowery, pseudo-intellectual language strung together to make it give off the appearance of depth and meaning when what he actually says is not utter nonsense. It's just, yeah, it's pretty bad. So they're continuing their conversation, and it's you know, they're trying to give off the vibe that there's you know, that these two are madly in love. I think that's what they were going for, but I didn't get that vibe at all. I would say it, if anything, they how can I put this politely? It wasn't love. It was lust. It was like, it was like they just wanted to take a little trip out into the woods and get busy for a while. That's the vibe that I got. I didn't get madly, deeply in love with each other. That did not come across to me whatsoever. I just their interaction made me feel like he really wanted to get some of that, and she was more than willing to let him get some of that, and they needed to go out into the woods and get busy. Yeah, lust. I would say more of a that's the vibe that I got. I didn't get a love story. I got I just really want to, we just really want to bang story. That's what I got. That's my feeling on it, guys. I don't know about you, but when I saw their interactions, that's what I got. So yeah. Anyway, so they're talking and getting, chatting back and forth, and out comes the bartender, and the bartender is just so ridiculous. The dude, he's the guy, he's the cook and the bartender. He literally just wears an apron. That's it, and he is like filthy, grimy, dirty, nasty. And he comes walking out, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on over there? You guys are a little too close. What's going on over here? Huh? That's yeah, something fishy's going on over here." So it's just, he pretty much, catches them. Everybody knows or suspects that they're, and this is just further kind of signifying that they got caught in the act. Oh, something naughty's going on. Naughty. Oh, what's going on over there? You guys are standing a little too close. Yeah. So he decides, okay, it's time to go, and he's walking out, and this is another scene that made me think of middle school. It was like two middle school dudes. So Arondir leaves, and his fellow elf is waiting for him on the outskirts of the village, and the guy turns to him and is like, dude, what are you doing, man? You gotta stop this. You're gonna get me in trouble. Like, we don't know what's going on. And Arondir's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he's like, oh, come on, it's obvious. And okay, yeah, okay. But the banter, the conversation between them was, so Arondir's response to the dude when he's like, you gotta knock it off, man. You're gonna get us in trouble. He's like, oh yeah, well, you stink. You smell. The other guy's like, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, you do. And then the dude sniffs himself. That's what happened. It was you need to stop it. You're gonna get us in trouble. No, I don't. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, and by the way, you stink. You smell. And the guy's like, no, I don't. He's like, yeah, you do. It was literally middle school. It was like, oh yeah. Well, you stink. You smell. You're a poop face. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Oh, when that happened, oh my God, we laughed. We laughed so hard. Oh my God, it was ridiculous. Yeah. Schneidi, have a great night, man. Have a great night. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Thank you for listening to me rant and rave. I know, again, like I said, this isn't my normal stream. It's not what I normally do while streaming, but thank you for allowing me to do it and joining me and coming along this ride. I'm going to wrap things up here in just a little bit, guys, and if you want me to, I will go over episode 2 in a future stream. Let me know. Yeah. Oh, it was painful. So Arondir goes back to the watchtower and meets with the commander of the watchtower, and he's like, "You've been here for a long time, and the elf commander's like, that he's the one who says pretty much that the evil blood still runs through their veins, and I mean, it's just awful dialogue. And then another elf runs in and gives them a message and says, "Oh, hey, the war is over. There's no evil in the land anymore. So we can all go home now." So these elves, right? This watchtower has been watching over this village for 1,000 years, and then all of a sudden they're just like, "Okay, we're done. We can go now. Bye. See ya." Okay. Okay, whatever. But so the elves are gonna go home. All the what they say, the outposts, I forget the phrase they use, but pretty much the outposts, the watchtowers on the outskirts of everybody can go back home to the elven realms, and they don't have to be there anymore. It's all good. It's all good. No need to be here anymore. So yeah. Anyway, so all the elves are going home. Well, Arondir, he's like, "Nah, I'm gonna go back to the village." He comes and goes, finds the lady healer, and is like, where are the rest? She says, "Where are the rest of your people?" And he says, "Probably out looking for me right now." Because I guess he abandoned he didn't want to go home. He wanted to stay with her, I guess, something. Yeah, and I don't remember how much of. See, now episode 1 and episode 2 are kind of bleeding together for me, because I don't the Harfoots, the Hobbit storyline, and even this Forbidden Love storyline was so bad and didn't really. It was like, why is, again, this is another part of the whole show where I was like, why is this here? I don't understand what this has to do with anything. It didn't make much sense to me. So all of the scenarios, or all the chronological order of events kind of bled together. And again, like I said, I only watched episode 1 and 2 one time. I haven't gone back, and I didn't take notes, so this is all from memory, what I remember seeing. I kind of wish that I had the ability to dig these memories out of my brain, because the show was so bad. But memory doesn't work that way. So I don't know how. I don't remember exactly what happened in episode 1 and episode 2, and I kind of want to just keep this to episode 1 since we're already 3 hours in, and we'll do episode 2 another time, like I said. So yeah, pretty much. The elves leave, except for Arondir. He goes back to the village, and she's like, why? And they go inside, and Theo's like, what is he doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Theo is the healer lady's son. He's like, what is he doing here? And she's like, be quiet, And I forget exactly what all they're talking about, but he's like, she's like, why are you here? And he's like, I have told you or I've shown you many times in the past, in every way but words. Pretty much saying that because I love you, but I've never said it out loud. Okay, whatever. It just did not. There was no real chemistry there. It was. Again, like I said, the vibe that I got was they just wanted to go out back in the forest and, get it on, and that was it. It was lust. That's again, that's what it felt like. It wasn't a love story, it was a lust story. At least that's the vibe that I got. So, yeah, then she gets a knock on the door, and it's a farmer with a cow, and she goes out, and she's like, what's wrong? And he's like, well, I think she's sick. And then Arondir comes out and is like, what do you mean? She starts examining the cow, right? Well, she doesn't have a fever. I don't see any lesions. Are you sure she's sick? And he's like, yeah, I think she may have eaten something, right? So she's a healer, right? So you'd think that she'd be able to diagnose, and her way of diagnosing if the cow is sick is she touches it. Oh, it doesn't have a fever. Looks at it. Oh, it doesn't have any lesions. And this guy, it's his cow, right? So, you know, this is a milking cow. This is a dairy cow. You'd think, I'll save that for a second. So Arondir comes out, and after the farmer guy says, "Oh, I think she ate something," and he's like, "Well, where do you? Why do you think she ate something? And where did she eat something bad?" And he says, "Off to the east." And Arondir the elf walks around down, gets kind of crouches down, and he starts milking the cow. And instead of milk coming out of the teat, it's like black goo. And I was watching this scene and I'm like, okay, this is a dairy cow. This farmer would milk this cow daily, right? He would milk the cow, and I think if I had a cow that was and I took it to a healer, I think that I would probably lead. I wouldn't say, "Oh, I think she ate something bad." I would probably lead with the fact that her milk is black goo. I think that's probably, you're kind of burying the lead there. If this farmer, if this is your cow, unless they're trying to say that he doesn't milk this cow when it's obviously a dairy cow and he obviously milks the cow, and when you milk cows, generally speaking, you milk cows daily. He didn't think it important to mention that the cow milk was black goo. I don't know. Kind of seems a little important to me. And the healer, the doctor, she doesn't think, all she thinks to do to diagnose the cow is to touch it and look and make sure it doesn't have any sores. Okay. Kind of that's a pretty poor diagnostic process, in my humble opinion. But the elf, Arondir, for some reason, he decides to crouch down and milk the cow, and out comes black goo. All right. Whatever, I guess. So he asks where has the cow been grazing, because the farmer is an idiot and thinks that, oh, of course if you eat bad grass, you're gonna milk, your milk's gonna turn into black goo. I mean, it's like a Tuesday to this guy apparently. Oh, she just ate something bad and her milk turned into black goo. That's totally normal. That happens all the time. I just think she's a little sick. She's got a little tummy ache. Yeah, her milk turned into black goo. Yeah, well, don't think anything of that. Nah. Totally normal. Doesn't make Nah, she just ate something. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Didn't think anything of it. Oh, she grazed off to the east. That's what he said. So Arondir is like, I must go travel to the east to see, what was going, because he recognizes, all right, this is pretty messed up. Cows should not be, producing black goo as their milk. He's like, wait a second, I'm pretty sure milk isn't black goo. Pretty sure. Something doesn't seem right here. Huh. The farmer's like, she got a tummy ache. Oh. Yeah, I mean, she milks black goo, but she's got, I think she ate something. Yeah. And the healer's like, touch. No, I don't feel a fever. I don't see any lesions. You sure she's sick? Again, I say to myself, who wrote this? Who? And not only think about the process of producing a television show. Somebody had to sit down and write this. Granted. Somebody had to look at this script and say, that's good. Somebody had to film this script and bring the actual scenes to life. Somebody had to edit this all together. Somebody had to approve the final copy. Somebody had to decide this is awesome and ready for air. So there are like multiple stages in the process of making a TV show. And nobody involved in this production ever stopped to say, none of this makes sense. There are so many things in this show that just do not make sense. Has everybody involved in this process, have they never had conversations with other individuals? Have they never interacted with other living beings? Have they never... Because it's almost like the writers of this show they cannot write good. It's like they don't know how good, genuine people actually act in real life or in life. Because when you're writing, guys, even when you're writing fantasy, you still use your real life experience, your real life. You have to make it believable, right? It has to be the dialogue and that kind of stuff. It has to feel like a natural conversation. You have to make it natural to the world, right? But not. So like the dialogue has to be. It has to feel natural. It has to. You have to. When you're listening to characters interact, there has to be a motivation behind what they're saying, why they're saying it, how they're saying it. That's characterization, right? There's a reason for why they do and say what they do and say, right? But even the characters that are supposed to be good in this show are awful. It's like their idea of what a good person is so twisted and warped. It's like they've never interacted with a decent human being or a decent person in their entire lives. So the old saying is, write what you know, right? Yeah, it's hard to write a love story if you've never been in love. It's that kind of thing, right? You use your personal experiences that comes through in your writing, right? And I just kept thinking that throughout this entire thing, I'm like, have they never had a conversation? Have they never met a decent, honest person in there? I mean, I couldn't understand. And then I got to thinking again, like the process. I'm like, everybody saw everybody read this script. The screenwriters or the writers, they wrote the script. The actors read the script and said, "Oh yes, that's excellent. I could definitely pull that off. That it's the words jump off the page. I'm so excited. I'm going to do that." The director and the people filming, everybody saw this and heard this, and at no point did any of them say, "Wait, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. None of this makes sense." Nobody. Nobody. Well, no, that's not true. Somebody did speak up, and his name was Tom Shippey, and he got shit canned because he wouldn't keep his mouth shut because he is an actual Tolkien scholar that dedicated his life to the works of Tolkien, and when he piped up, and said, guys, no, this is bad, this is bad, stop. They're like, you're fired. Oh, and Peter Jackson. Can't forget Peter Jackson. Initially they reached out to Peter Jackson like, "Hey, Peter, would you be you wanna help us out with this project?" And Peter's like, "Yeah, you know what? Maybe send me the scripts. Send me the scripts, and I'll read them over and give you guys my 2 cents." And they're like, "Oh crap, he wants to read the script." Never got back to him. Never sent him the scripts. Just makes you scratch your head and like, wow. Anyway, back to the story. We're almost done, guys. We're almost done. Arendir's like, "I must travel east." And the healer lady's like, "I'm coming with you." And my initial thought was, why? Why? You're a healer. You're not a warrior. You have no skills that would be relevant for this type of mission. Why? That was my initial thought. I was like, why? Why would you go? And then immediately after, I'm like, oh, because you're hoping to get a little elf. Yeah, I get it. So she leaves her son. Just leaves him. Like, "I gotta go on a business trip for the weekend. Bye." Just leaves her son alone at home. And now her son isn't like a little 5-year-old or, he's a teenager. But she's like, "Mama's gotta go get her some. I gotta slice me off a little piece of that elf, so bye." Just takes off and leaves her kid alone, home alone, so she could go scanter off with the elf to help with the mission. Okay. So yes, and I forget. I don't know if they actually get to the village in this episode or if it's the next one, but I think we'll save that for next time, guys. So there you go, guys. That's basically, there was so much more that happened. So much more that I tried to talk about the stuff that I remembered. Like I said, I didn't take notes. I didn't watch this multiple times. I just sat with a couple of my buddies and hit the play button on the episodes. We paused it a lot and talked a lot and laughed a lot. And it wasn't laughter of, "Oh, this is hilarious comedy, great job." This was laughter of, "I cannot frickin' believe it. What are we watching?" Oh, God. Okay. So, final thoughts of the first episode. I really thought I was going to be able to get through both, but we actually didn't even get to my favorite part of the first couple episodes, which all right, spoiler alert, my favorite part was the dwarves. I love dwarves. We'll talk about that next time. Yeah, so the characters were awful. The writing was awful. The dialogue was awful. So many of the scenes just did not make sense. Galadriel is not Galadriel. Elrond is not Elrond. This is not Tolkien. I will not call it The Lord of the Rings. It will be Rings of Power. This is generic fantasy, and it's bad generic fantasy that they've just slapped the Lord of the Rings name onto. So much of the lore was destroyed. And despite what anybody, I don't get where people are coming out and saying, that this is not lore breaking. I'm like, there is so much in this that breaks the lore. It's not even funny. And I really didn't get into a lot of it because that was kind of secondary. I didn't want to focus on that aspect as much because that aspect, that aspect is undeniable. And the people out there who are trying to deny it are either afraid that they're going to lose their direct access to Amazon. So a lot of these media types, the professional reviewers, they get early access, which gives them an advantage when covering this type of stuff. Because believe it or not, reviews, television reviews, and movie reviews, and pop culture reviews, it's big business. It is. There's a lot of people that enjoy this field, this thing. So getting early access to a project gives them a huge advantage in that market because they are able to speak on the topic first. It's another thing, like a lot of current event YouTubers and people who follow the trends and that kind of thing. A lot of times it's the person who publishes their video first will have a major advantage in the YouTube algorithm. They'll get there first, so they'll get the biggest push first. And unfortunately, that has kind of permeated the entertainment industry, especially the critics and reviewers, because they want that access. They want the ability to see it first so they can get their content out there first, giving them they have a major monetary reason to say the things that they're saying. Because if Amazon gives them early access and they give an honest opinion about what they're seeing, tell the fans that this is bad. That's not going to make Amazon very happy. So Amazon's going to be like, well, we're not going to give that guy early access anymore. He's going to be honest. He's not going to toe the line. He's not going to read the lines that we feed him. Or her. So it's all about the access. So the access is given. They're like, yeah, you'll be able to get your content out there first as long as your content is what we want it to be. So as long as you say that this is the bestest thing ever, yeah, you can get an early sneak peek. You can hype this up. You can tell people what we want you to tell them. Not the truth. We don't want you to tell them the truth. Oh, no. If you do, you will never gain early access to this content again. You'll never be able to get your videos out there first. You'll never be able to take advantage of that algorithmic boost. Because there is one if you're first. Undeniable. So the early access critics, reviewers, all were coming out and saying this is glorious and beautiful and totally within the lore. Didn't break. This was Tolkien through and through. That's what we heard for months. And then we started getting snippets, right? We got a few pictures here. But it took them forever to actually get us a trailer or something that we could actually see. Initially it was just like interviews of the showrunners and some of the executives and some of the cast. Even before the cast. So there were still, they were giving interviews saying, "Oh, this is going to be spectacular and beautiful and it's going to be it's going to be so true to Tolkien that Tolkien would be smiling upon this project." And that's what we were fed for months. And then we started getting glimpses, right? We got the picture of Galadriel in full armor with the sword on her back and fire behind her. And the fans, myself included, I'm like, wait, whoa, what? Wait a second. What I'm seeing and what you're saying do not match up. And we got, some trailers. And we got to start seeing glimpses. And they were still giving interviews, and they started parading the cast out there and saying all of this stuff, right? Hyping up the show. And don't get me wrong, guys. Of course, companies are going to hype up their product. That's, of course. The problem we ran into is they were saying one thing and showing us snippets, and the snippets and the pictures, the trailers, the mini trailers, the teasers, whatever they called them, didn't match up with what they were saying. And when the fans were like, wait a second, you're saying this and then showing us this, they don't know. So either you're lying or no, you're lying. That I don't know the or. I don't know the or there. So they started to question, and even myself, I wanted to give this a chance. I wanted to hope for the best, but at the same time, the old saying, hope for the best, prepare for the worst. So I wanted to hope for the best, but I knew that it was probably going to be awful. So I went into this kind of hoping that I would be wrong. I wanted so desperately to be wrong. Because like I said, Tolkien was such a major part of not only my childhood, my teenage years, even into adulthood. Very, very special to me. And then the show comes out. And it turns out that everything, almost. So there are some visuals. I mean, like I said, some of the cinematography is beautiful. Almost everything else that they said about this show is a lie. They lied to the audience for months. And when fans dared to question them on their lies, they started to attack the fans. Then the show comes out, and the people who were questioning, and just the simple fact of asking a question was enough to vilify the Tolkien fans. So you got to be honest, there were some people out there that they didn't hold back, and maybe they some of the things that were said were ridiculous and stupid. And guys, I hate to break it to you, but in the real world, there are awful people everywhere. In every group, in every fandom, there are going to be, it doesn't matter what it is. Any time you get a group of people, some of those people are going to be awful. That's a fact of life. That's a fact of the world. All right. Anyway, guys, I've been rambling for 3.5 hours. I think it's about time we wrap it up. needless to say, I was heartbroken watching this show. I really was. I really wanted it to be... I wanted it to be Lord of the Rings because I love that world. I love that mythos. I love everything about Tolkien, his writing, his this series had the potential to be greatness. With $1 billion budget, $1 billion, what they could have achieved what this could have been, that's what breaks my heart. That is what breaks my heart. They could have made this the greatest, the most amazing television series in the history of television. Instead, I think Amazon would have been better had they pulled a Joker, piled up $1 billion in a giant pile, and set it all on fire. I think that probably would have been a better way to spend their money. Because this show was awful. If I were to give it a rating, I'm not much of a rating, like, out of 10 guy. I'd probably give it a 3. Just because some of the cinematography was okay. It was pretty good. Some of the sweeping shots were beautiful. But that was it. That was it. I don't know if I can convey the depth of my disappointment. Like I said, this show was heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. But, on the plus side, guys, we still have the books. We still have the original Jackson trilogy. Although, if you're going to watch the Jackson trilogy, I recommend the extended editions. And we still have the fandom. But this is not Tolkien. This is not The Lord of the Rings. It's just not. So there you go, guys. That is my ranting and raving. 3.5 hours. Holy crap. That's my ranting and raving on Rings of Power. And we only got to episode 1. We didn't get to episode 2. We will. I think I'll come back and talk about episode 2. And who knows? Maybe I'll continue this. We're still, I think we have 6 more weeks for this first season, so oh gosh, it's painful. But, you know, if you guys want to hear me rant about it, you know, let me know. If you missed any of the live stream, I will also be posting this onto Savin's World Live. So if you haven't yet, make sure and hit up Savin's World Live. Subscribe to that channel. Usually takes me a couple of days to get the live streams migrated over to the other channel and get them uploaded and published. So yeah, a couple of days to get those going. So tomorrow I should have last night's stream. So maybe Sunday the stream will be back up. And just in case you missed anything, I would love to hear what you guys think. Kelly says yes to episode 2. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'll have to find a time that I can stream it. Yeah. My heart just dropped. I mean, I was so disappointed. What can you do? Like I said, we still have the books. We still have the Jackson trilogy, extended edition. Not the theatrical. Not that the theatrical cut was bad, but the once you watch the extended edition, you never go back and watch the theatrical, because the extended editions are just so much better. So much better. So we still have those. Yeah, but this is not Lord of the Rings. It's just, there's some people out there calling it fan fiction, and I don't even think I could bring myself to call it fan fiction, because usually fan fiction is written by fans. This is just bad fiction. Bad generic fantasy. This is like something you'd watch on... What's the really crappy cable channel that does all of like the B superhero crap? I forget. It's like something you see on that show, that network, that cost $1 billion. Oh, all right, guys. I gotta get out of here. I gotta go. But thank you very much for hanging out with me, guys. Thank you very much for allowing me to vent and rant. Like I said, this is not what I normally stream about. We didn't get a lot of zombie jerk slaying done. So thank you for hanging with me and listening to me pour out my sadness. And well, you know what? I enjoyed this was kind of a therapeutic, cathartic experience for me. So I want to say thank you. Thank you very much. Because yeah, it's, again, like I said, it's not my normal thing. I don't normally cover television shows and that kind of thing on this channel, but Lord of the Rings is special to me. Has been since I was a very little child. And this show was an abomination. What else can I say? Well, but for now, this is Savin saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in Savin's World. And I'm going to alter my outro here a little bit. And I'm going to say, and remember, we still have the books. Yeah, we'll leave it there. All right, guys, have a great night. Thank you again. And keep your eyes peeled. Maybe I didn't, when I do these extra streams, I usually don't post anything about them. They just pop up. Which might not be the best strategy on YouTube, but I don't care. So who knows when we're going to do episode 2, but we'll do episode 2. Maybe, I don't know if, I really don't want to rewatch it, but I'm thinking, because I know I missed a lot in the first episode. I know there was a lot of stuff that I didn't cover. I didn't have a lot of the dialogue. I wish I could give you guys a word for word rundown of what was actually said, because I tried to do my best to convey just how awful the dialogue was, and I don't know if I did it justice. Like the awfulness. I don't know if I did the awfulness justice, because it was... I did my best. I did what I could. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll rewatch episode 2 and take some notes and maybe make it a little bit more coherent. Hopefully it was hopefully it was coherent. You guys followed along and you were picking up what I was putting down, as they say. Hopefully. I hope so. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Okay, Eric. Stop. Yeah, 7. You're done. You're 3 hours and 40 minutes, dude. Dude, stop. I'm going to stop. Okay. I'm done. Rant over. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me. And be on the lookout. We'll be back to talk about episode 2. And I think I need to figure out some other thing. Because I can't really play a game and rant at the same time. I don't know. Let me know, what you guys think. Hit up Discord. Drop a comment in the replay stream, and let me know what you guys think I should do. If this format was okay, even though 90% of the time I was just standing here like this. Let me know. Anyway, guys. Okay, I really do need to stop. I need to stop. Okay. Again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, very much for joining me, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your weekend.